We be live. How's my audio? Let me know so we could get started. We're going to go over the Patreon questions today. I have a couple of questions that have been. How many questions do I have? I have about 6 or 7 questions on Patreon that I'm going to be responding to. And after that, I will be sending a link, posting a link on YouTube, on our YouTube's community tab in a way that only the members can see. So YouTube members can come up and talk to me live on air. Soha is confirming in the live chat that the audio is great. Thank you so much, Soha. You're an angel. No, the devil. You're the devil. Okay, here we do the, yes, angels are no good. But yeah, so if you would like me to answer your questions, make sure you become a patron. So a patron on Patreon, so that you can send me your questions and I will answer them for you. Okay, it could be about anything, almost as long as it doesn't violate YouTube's community guidelines. So patrons get to ask their questions and I answer live on air. YouTube members get to come up after the Patreon questions are done, get to come up live on air and talk to me. Usually I post a link to the stream a day ahead of time, sometimes 2 days ahead of time, and the link is only accessible to our patrons, and they see under it, they comment their questions, and then I'll come here a day after and publicly answer them. Okay. Oh, my name is in Persian. Sorry, guys. Yes. Thank you, Soha, for reminding me that my name is in Persian, because for people who don't know, I have a Persian show that I do. There's another, sometimes I forget to switch it back to English when I'm doing my English shows. Cool. All right, so let's look at the questions. What's the first question? All right, the first question is by Gusale. Gusale Kuchik, to be precise. So Gusale is asking, by the way, Gusale, for people who don't know, means little cow. Hi Dee, hi Nihilist, hi Idris, hi Qasim. Qasim saying, hey Iranian Atheist. Well, hey, back at you, fellow Iranian Atheist. Music lover saying, Durud Salam. Well, back at you. Okay, cool. We're good. Oh yeah, Soha is posting the link to the Persian channel. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Soha. All right, so Gusala is asking, why do you think all the analysis that come on the Al Jazeera English to discuss Iran seem to be so biased towards the regime? It feels like there is very rarely pundits that actually point out the mismanagement of the regime, or, for example, the ways that they refuse medicine for their own people. Okay, so I think this is related to Gusala's question for last week, because she was also asking whether or not this is related to whether Al Jazeera being a Qatari news outlet and Qatar having close relationships to Iran has anything to do with that. I suspect it's not that much. It's not that. Okay, so Al Jazeera has multiple different outlets, and the Arabic version of it has been, a lot of people have noticed it's a lot more radical than the English version of it. The English version of it seems to be having bias in different directions. To be fair to Al Jazeera, when they're reporting the news, it's actually the English version of it is one of the best sources of news. Okay, often, not always, but often, right? When they're doing news coverage. But when it comes to opinions, there seems to be certain biases, right? And that depends on which show you're watching. So the AJ Plus outlet of Al Jazeera English is completely not left-leaning, but like progressive left-leaning, like not liberal left-leaning. Like AJ Plus is like extremely progressive, like not without any unashamedly like pushing forward towards like not just like anti-right-wing, not just anti-neocon, but anti-liberal progressive. That's AJ Plus. Okay, Al Jazeera itself, again, the news shows seem to be very unbiased, but there are certain shows on Al Jazeera where it seems to be less progressive but more liberal. And for example, between liberal and progressive. Like, for example, the stream seems to be a little bit more left-leaning. Okay, and I think these are not because of Al Jazeera being Qatari or any relationship Qatar has with Iran. I think this is because of this is more of a business. This is more of them trying to make sure they have influence within the English-speaking world, right? And identifying the gaps within the market that they can fill for them to become more relevant, right? So I think that's what drives. Like if they put AJ Plus and then AJ Plus has a very progressive direction, it's mostly because they think like, you know, United States was going through a really progressive like Me Too. I don't know, like I was almost spoke Persian. Me Too or Black Lives Matter moment, and all of that was happening. And AJ Plus was trying to ride that wave. Like Al Jazeera was trying to ride that wave and become more relevant in the United States, right? When it comes to his Iran position, I think the English version, the non-AJ Plus English version of Al Jazeera has a not a progressive view, but an anti-neocon, an anti-neocon direction. Again, not the news reporting, but the opinion shows, especially the stream. So that's my take. I might be wrong, but that's how I see it. Let me know if that's what you guys feel when you're watching Al Jazeera as well. Idris in the live chat is saying, I was shocked when I learned that AJ Plus meant Al Jazeera Plus. I couldn't have guessed from their videos. Yes. Yeah, so that's the reason why AJ Plus is not called Al Jazeera Plus, is because they don't want you to know, like they don't want you to, Al Jazeera sounds, you know, it's very interesting for a progressive outlet. They are shying away from using Arabic words because they know less people would be interested in them if the name had Al Jazeera in them, which is not very progressive of them. You would think like a very progressive outlet would have an audience that wouldn't mind Arabic names in the like, I don't know, what are you trying to hide? But I think it was a very conscious decision not to use Al Jazeera in the title of that outlet and just say AJ Plus. I think it was if I had to guess, I mean, I don't know for sure, but if I had to guess, it was a conscious decision. Oh, look at this. Soha is also on Twitch confirming that Dadi is great. Thank you so much, Soha. Okay, so I think I answered this question quite well. I think we can move to the next question. I try to make sure that I have an eye on the live chat as well, so that if you guys have an opinion on what I'm saying, I try to notice it. Again, this is not as easy with a co-host, but I'll try my best. Okay. Okay. So Gusale is also asking, I was surprised. Wait, is this the same question? No. I was surprised to learn of this spate of public self-immolations in Iran recently in protest of economic hardship. I think this surprised me because this is very similar to what sparked the Arab Spring in Tunisia. What do you think of this trend? Yes. Okay. And there's also a link that comes with this. But it's interesting because I remember when in Iran there was self-immolation happening, there were a couple of Iranian anti-regime Iranians who were using this as proof that the world has forgotten Iran, or the world doesn't care about Iran, or less Iranians actually care about toppling the regime. Like not enough Iranians care about toppling the regime, because why did the same action that caused the overthrow of the Tunisian regime, the same similar action did not cause anything similar both internationally or internally in Iran, like even though we had multiple versions of that. For people who don't, I don't know, I think most of you guys know what started the Arab Spring, right? The Arab Spring started because of one person decided to set himself on fire because of like humiliation and economic hardship, right? But we have a lot more of that happening in Iran, yet not much of a reaction, right? So let's see. Brother Ben in the live chat is saying, sorry I'm late, everyone. We're okay to begin now. Okay, good. Thank you so much, Brother Ben. I was wondering where you are, but I appreciate your presence. Why is this mostly covered? Okay, here. Tehran Daily. 8 desperate Iranian workers have set themselves on fire since May. Oh my God. Okay. Let's zoom in a little bit so you guys could read as well. Zoom in more. Yes. No fewer than 8 people have self-immolated in public places in Iran, at least 3 of them fatally. in the last 2.5 months, all seemingly over ill treatment and the dire economic situation. The Tehran Reformers paper, Etzmond reports. Okay, that's significant. The incidents are all under. Why that? Okay, like you must be trying to send a message when you self-immolate. Like if you're trying to like end your life, why do people choose the most painful option? Is this about like a message of desperation? Like I don't understand. The incidents are all understood to have. Guys, if you understand this, like can you explain it to me in the live chat? Can you like tell me why you think this is the method people choose? The incidents are all understood to have occurred between late May and July 31st this year. On May 22nd, a seasonal truck driver with Gulistan Tobacco Company in Gorgan poured gasoline over himself and set himself on fire in front of the firm's headquarters. Oh, thank you so much, Idris. Idris just became Imperialist West puppet. Became a increase his membership. Thank you so much, Idris. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for the support. I think that will make you entitled to private meetings, I think. So, yeah, let me email me at armin.navabi@gmail.com if you're interested in that. Thank you so much for the support, Idris. Okay, the 50-year-old was reported to have suffered burns to 60% of his body. Colleagues said he had worked intermittently for the company for 20 years, but was subjected to disciplinary action after a workplace accident. Management then transferred him to a different unit, which they said had prompted the act of protest. Okay, so I guess like when you set yourself on fire, it's just like I don't want to just go. I want to the people who did this to me. I want to bring shame upon them. Maybe I think that's the motivation. If I'm guessing, right? So if you just like I don't know, delete yourself or something, and it doesn't make the news, the people who harmed you, the people who made your life miserable, nobody's going to come and tell them like shame. So maybe like the reason why you set yourself on fire is to bring attention to the people who harmed you. Maybe something like that. Oh, thank you. Oh, okay. Thank you again. Awesome is saying they can share their message and then choose a less painful method. Yeah, but I think they might think like nobody will care about the message. Like it wouldn't even bring anyone. It wouldn't get on anyone's radar if they do that. Yeah, doorknob hit us in and he lived. That makes it even worse. He donate. I don't know. For me, maybe yeah. Oh, god damn it! I don't want to think about this. I'm trying to do a mind block over what actually happened. Okay, because the following day, a 40-year-old father of 4 who served refreshments at the offices of the local water and sewage department in Razi City. I wish the Persian. I could read it if it was in Persian. Kohgiluye and Boyer Ahmed province carried out the same act. He later died in hospital in Shiraz. The district governor conceded he had done so due to unpaid wages and contractual uncertainty. Jesus Christ. The next incident was reported on May 28th. A middle-aged repairman self-immolated in front of the local branch of the Ministry of Industry, Mine and Trade in Bam, Kerman province. Staff there reported that the man had been sued by a private plaintiff over a work-related incident, and they had referred his case over his head to the Government Infractions Bureau, a body under the supervision of the Ministry of Justice. Then on June 4th, a worker, Yasuj, the capital of I'm not going to read these names. If they were in Persian, I could read them easier. Set himself on fire, reportedly over a debt of 10 million tomos, or just $350. Guys, look at this. The guy self-immolated himself over a debt of 315 US dollars. This is what destroyed his life. The inability to pay $315. God damn it, man. Hi, guy. Next time you buy something that is worth more than $300, just remember somebody set himself on fire because he couldn't pay, because he was in debt that much and he couldn't pay it back, and that was like, that amount of money crushed him. Jesus Christ, man, $300. Okay. Okay. He could not afford to repay. Yeah, he was married with 3 children and died from severe burns. Another reason why, I'm trying to guess here, okay? I have no idea. I'm not a trained psychologist or anything that related to mental health. I'm just like guessing here. Another reason why you might decide to go the painful way out is maybe is because the easy way would look too selfish, right? Like you have a children and a family left behind they have nobody to take care of them, right? And it just seemed like you just quit and left them behind. So you wanted to make sure that you were paying a heavy price for quitting as well, so that you don't look like you were a coward. Like it's not just like I punished myself for deciding to leave. Like I went through pain. Like I didn't do the easy thing. Maybe it's another reason why you would choose the painful way. Again, I'm just guessing. On June 9th, 2 employees of the Farabi, petrochemical company of Mahshar, got that one, Khuzestan, set themselves on fire over having been laid off. 2 employees from the same company. Okay, over having been laid off from the company after 3 years. On July 30th, a 30-year-old man by the name of Jamil reportedly set himself on fire in Ilam due to livelihood problems. He too died in hospital in Ahvaz on August 2nd. Guys, what do you guys say if somebody suggests that these are because of U.S. sanctions and U.S. is responsible for this, right? How would you respond to that? Let me know, right? Because these hardships, these economic problems, is mostly because of the sanctions, right? So the sanctions on Iran. So do you think the United States is responsible for these self-immolations? The final recorded case was that of a contract worker with the Water and Sewage Department in Lahijan, Gilan province, who self-immolated on July 31st in protest at having been suspended from work a full 2 months earlier. The past 12 months in Iran have been marked by high levels of industrial unrest in a variety of sectors, from oil and gas to education to Tehran bus network. Apart from contractual insecurity, public sector workers of all disciplines report that wages and pension payments failing to keep pace with ballooning inflation, which is now pushing more and more households in Iran below the poverty line. Okay, so this also might be the reason why Iran has came back to the table, right, when it comes to the nuclear talks, because we thought recently that it seemed like there's no hope for the JCPOA. Like it's done, okay? It's on life support. Like it was flatlining, okay? But now, in the last minute, like surprise, there's a comeback. And there seems to be something happening. I don't know if anything is going to happen, but it seems, because what do you guys think? Like these are government jobs. Like at some point, if this continues, the government might not be able to pay the armed forces. and that would be the highest amount of danger to the regime itself, okay? Because everything else being unstable is one thing, okay? But not being able to pay your military to the IRGC or the Artesh, right? If you can't pay those, now we're speaking toppling of the regime, okay? Now we're talking. So if it gets to there, then the government would be panicking, and that might be the reason. So here's another thing. So at first I asked, like, do you blame the US, right? But for the sanctions, but now here's the counter question. Like, maybe this shows that the sanctions are working because this level of desperation is bringing Iran back to the table. We don't know. Qasim is saying he lost his life and his family lost their only source of income. Obviously, the worst decision. True, but I think in his mind, he's not here to see it, that his family is suffering. So if he's not here to see his family suffering, for him, his family is not suffering from his perspective. Somebody is asking, do they sanction food and medicine? Technically, no. Effectively, they're very difficult to come by because of the sanctions. So, but technically, no. Technically, they're not sanctioned. I understand. Armin, Iran has social security. Yes, but they're kind of shaky. Last time, is that right? I think like yes, but they don't pay them. like I heard like they're like a lot of them are not being paid. So we'll I don't know the details of that, but that's what I've heard. Qasim, can you confirm? Qasim in the live chat. It's great that Qasim is here. Qasim, stay here. I need you to confirm things for me. That's what my understanding is, that a lot of these security funds are out of budget. Other Iranians in dire financial straits have committed similar acts of desperation in the past year. Last October, a man named Ruhollah Barazideh, the unemployed son of an Iranian war murderer, died after setting himself on fire in front of the offices of the Foundation for Martyrs and Veterans Affairs okay, so see, this is a message. Your self-immolation is a message, because the regime is supposed to take care of its martyrs and the family of those martyrs, but the situation is so bad that even the families of the martyrs are not being taken care of. So he set himself on fire in front of the Foundation for Martyrs and Veterans. Okay, Qasim is saying literally yes, but actually no. Oh yeah, so to the question, do they have social security? Qasim is saying literally yes, but I think you mean technically yes. Technically yes, but actually no. We call it ta'mina ijtimai. Yes, okay. So you're saying on paper they have social security, but in effect they don't. Oh yeah, he did this in front of Bunyad al-Shahid. Yeah, okay. Wow, Qasim, you know these cases very well. You should be up here. Okay. So wait, what did we even answer the question? What was the question? The question was, what do you think of this trend? I think it will. I think this trend will increase unless there's a deal, and even if there is a deal, the trend might increase, because if there's a deal, the deal might not lead into actual trades happening, right? So we'll see. Like, if there is a deal, would that lead into investments and trade finally flowing into Iran, right? And even if there is a deal, the Republicans, it seemed like after, like, I don't know, but it seemed like after the Republicans are going to come back into power, unless something changes, right? And they might like get rid of the deal. So the odds are against the trend. The odds are against the Iranian people. The trend might like continue getting worse. Yeah. Sorry. But like there's a chance that the deal will go through, and maybe the Democrats will stay in power, or maybe the Republicans will only be half insane, not full insane, and keep the deal. Or maybe there's it's very unlikely. There's there's always a chance of the regime toppling and secular democracy coming to Iran. That's very unlikely, very, very unlikely, but there's always a shot. But as things are right now, again, black swan events could happen. As things are right now, even with a deal, things don't seem to be getting better. And one thing that could make things better is if Putin stops the war in Ukraine, which that doesn't seem like likely to happen any soon. Okay, so again, the war in Ukraine has been good for oil prices for Iran, but it has increased the prices of food. So, and the sale of the money from oil that goes to IRGC, a lot of it, but the food prices, like the amount of increase in food prices is not translating to is more significant than the extra income, the non-existent extra income that the higher oil prices should have been leading caused for Iranian people. So basically, higher oil prices has not led to Iranian people having more income. Okay, it has led to mostly because for multiple reasons, right? Because Iran can't sell its oil like legally, and when it can, it has to sell it at very discounted prices. And when it sells it, a lot of it goes to the regime and the IRGC, right? But the war in Ukraine had a very more direct and more immediate impact on food prices in Iran. So, and it's bread prices especially, which hurts the poorest people in Iran the most. So yeah, incomes are not going up. Prices of everything are going up. People's fridges are getting emptier and emptier. And people are like on social media in Iran, like one thing that is trending is people sending pictures of their fridge showing how empty it is. So that's the thing. And it's getting more widespread. Like people who used to look at social media and say like, oh my God, these poor people, they have no food. Like, this is so sad. Now they are like, they couldn't imagine like, oh my God, I hope things continue so these poor people can eat. But now they're sending pictures of their own fridges, like people who never thought they would be among the poor. Now they're finding themselves among the poor, which is really scary. Like people who never imagined not being able to not feed their kids are like now in that position. So yeah, things are messed up. Really bad. Let me see what you guys are saying. I am saying, Armin, why Iran still don't have the technology to process raw oil to sell it? It does, but it can't sell it because of the sanctions. It's because of the sanctions right now. It can't sell it. Qasim is saying middle class is no more in Iran. Well, I mean, it's shrinking. I think there's some middle class. I know some people who are middle class in Iran still. Okay, let's go to the next question. I think we spent pretty enough time on this one. Okay, let's do one Idris question before we go back to Gusala's question. Okay, Gusala has a lot of questions. Idris is saying, what do you think was the impact of European colonization of the Middle East? As there seemed to have been a wave of secularism right after the independence, but many countries now seem to be more radical than the Ottoman Empire, for example. Well, I can speak to two countries mostly, or actually three. I think. All right, so we have to separate what we're talking about. We can talk about secularism, we can talk about democracy, because in the Middle East, in the early 1900s and so, there was push for democracy, but not necessarily secularism. And then after that, there was a push for secularism, but not necessarily for democracy. Okay, and people kind of saw that in a contradiction. Like we talk about secular democracies, right? But in the Middle East, we have a history of democracies versus secularism, right? And secularism was seen as a force of tyrants that comes from up above, rather than like in Europe when we had the Age of Enlightenment, we had secularism and democracy, both forces to fight the tyrants, to bring down the kings, because the kings and the church were in it together, and the people were like, yeah, we want to tear you down so that becomes the country becomes for the by the people, for the people, right? So because the church gave authority to the king and the king gave authority to the church, right? In Iran, for example, it was like this for a very long time, and also in the Ottoman Empire, right? It was like this for a time. Like in the Safavid Empire in Iran, the mullahs gave authority to the king, and the king gave authority to the mullahs. And in the Ottoman Empire, the ulama did the same thing for the caliph, right? But once the Ottoman Empire collapsed, right, and also once we had after the Safavid and the Qajars and we had the Pahlavis, we saw that was not there anymore. You had the tyrant, right, the dictator, against the ulama or against the mullahs in Iran, and against the ulama. You had Ataturk against you had the dictator that wanted secularism, and it was against religion, and the people were still religious, right? And in Iran, the people were still religious, and the king was against religion, right? Because the kings, the dictators, looked at the West and were like, okay, things seem to be working out for them, okay? And like everything, like, why are we so weak and pathetic? And they seem to be so great. So they were like, it must be like, modernity. And, and they looked at religion as backwards. So they were like, okay, we need to move away from this and be more like them, right? So they looked at secular democracies and like they chose secularism, but not democracy, okay? Because they were like, well, democracy means like we're not in charge. So we can't have that, right? But secularism, that seems to be secularism and modernity and like education for women and infrastructure and like even like education seemed like good investment by these like tyrants. They're like, okay, a lot of education, but also a lot of things that seem to be symbolic and not have much of an effect. Like, for example, Reza Shah in Iran was like made hijab illegal by and he made like men wear Western attire as if like that's going to make the country better. And he also made pictures of camels illegal because he associated with camels with, I don't know, like what. Okay, I guess because he associated camels with Islam and backwards, and he wanted to portray a more modern image of Iran to the outside world. So yeah, he banned the pictures of camels, like no photographs of camels. Okay, so that was the thing. Yeah, but so the question is, the reason why at first you had to push for democracy, like both in Turkey and Iran and in other places. People are like, in Egypt, people are like, yeah, power for the people. But these people were religious, okay? So, and the kings wouldn't. So if you saw like the parliaments that they were suggesting, the people and the ulama, like the religious authorities, because their powers were waning, because these secular dictators were coming, like they used to be giving authority to the kings, but now they were aligning with the people, and the people and the religious authority were uniting against the dictators, right? So that dilemma, that there was a shift, right? So the democracy was on the side of people, and the religion was on the side of people as well, and secularism was on the side of kings and the tyrants, right? And the push for democracy failed, and the kings won, right? But this left a bad taste in the mouth of the people for secularism, because unlike in West where we see secularism as a force where it reduces the power of authorities, in these places secularism was seen as a force that reduces the power of the people, because people are religious, right? So that that so secularism lasted for a while in these regions because it was being forcing from top down. Eventually the people got their way back and they were like, okay, well, let's not try that again. So again, when you attack religion and try to force it away instead of try to raise awareness and convince people out of religion, it usually you might be able to push it back for a while, but then it comes back with vengeance and it takes over, right? That's what happened with religion in the Middle East. So like, okay, so no to secularism, I guess, right? But then when it came back to with vengeance, then it managed to come into position of authority and power, right? And then when religion was in the position of power, people were like, now we're going through that enlightenment stage, right? Because when religion was on the side of the people against tyranny, people were like, we're choosing religion. But now that religion is in power itself, now we have that scenario where people want secular democracy, because now we're back in that European, like, age of enlightenment in Europe, where tyranny and religion are on the same side, and people want to fight both. People want, like, religion is the force for people in power, not in the hands of people. So we want secularism, and we want to be heard. So we want democracy. So they want to say no to tyrants and no to religion. That demand is increasing. So people want. So we'll see what happens in the next 50 or 100 years, right? Because I think an age of enlightenment is finally coming in the Middle East. So I think the next time we get secularism, we're going to get proper secularism from the bottom up rather than from top down. Let me see what you guys are saying, because I talk so much and I didn't pay attention to the live chat. Yeah, Oxymoron is saying so they were sort of like MBS. Exactly. That's actually a very good comparison, Oxymoron. Idris is like, no camels. Yeah, no pictures of camels. Camels, apparently there's a show, but that was backwards. Oh my god, I have to highlight this one. Don't understand. My humps, my lovely camel lumps. Oh my god, this is the best comment. This is the best comment. Guys, I love hanging out with you guys. You guys are the best. Okay, let's go. We have perfect. That well, like, maybe another time, because we've been doing so many MEK discussions and people are like, a lot of people are like, don't know what we're talking about, and you don't do a very good job in like explaining the basics to people. Like, maybe we'll set another time and talk more MEK later, but we have been speaking too much MEK on this channel. But yeah, we will set another time and talk about it later. We don't want to turn this into an MEK discussion channel. If you're actually, you know what? I make it conditional. If you come to the Persian channel and talk MEK on the Persian channel, then we'll do more. Because you don't, I really want you to come and talk to me on the Persian channel about MEK. If you do that, then I will talk to you on the English channel about MEK. There we go. Okay, let's go to the next. Oh wait, Idris is saying. I mean, I guess camels in Iran are like horse-pulled wagons in Europe. No, okay. So here's the thing. Most of my childhood, I didn't know Iran has camels. So if you like, oh yeah, Iran, camels are a common thing in Iran. A lot of Iranians would get offended. They're like, "Are you calling us again?" This is racist, but that's what a lot of Iranians are. They're racist. They're like, are you calling us Arabs? Like, we don't have camels. There's no camels in Iran. Those like this is not Saudi Arabia. Like, what are you talking about? Camels? Where's camels? We have horses. We don't have camels. Like, I didn't even know we had camels. And my entire childhood, I thought camels are an Arabian thing. And then I was like, oh yeah, we have camels. I think a lot of people would like. I think Idris's comment would offend a lot of Iranians. I'm not even kidding. Like, if you say camels in Iran are like horse-pulled wagons in Europe, you're like, no. People in Iran are like, what are you talking about? I've never seen I've lived in Iran all my life. I've never seen a single camel. We have horses. Like, there's like camel. That's like We're not like, you're confusing us with an Arabic country, Idris. How dare you? Like, this is seriously, this would be the reaction. Qasim, would this not be the reaction? I think this would be an offensive comment by what? Yeah, so Qasim is like, we're not Arabs. Persian Empire will rise and conquer again. Yeah, again, we're not. This is not something we believe in. We're just making fun of races here. Yeah, perfect. That was saying, but you gave false information to people here too. Okay, sure. I give false based on what you're saying. I give false information on the Persian channel too. So if you want to clarify it here, come clarify it on the Persian side. Come correct my lies on the Persian channel, and then after that, I'll let you come clarify. Like tell people how I lied on the English channel. But first, you have to, because I'm saying I'm anti-MEK on the Persian channel too. So you have to come there and fix it over there as well. That's the condition. You have to be a guest on the Persian side. Yeah, see, Qasim is confirming what I'm saying. Yes, this will trigger so many nationalists in Iran. Yeah. So, Idris, if the next time you want to offend an Iranian, go, like, if they tell you, like, hey, like, where are you from? And they say, I'm from Iran. They're like, oh, Iran, the land of camels. And and then tell me what their reaction is. Okay. Just come to me and report what happens after. Okay. Idris is saying, but they were domesticated in the northeast of Iran. I believe they are Iranic in origin. I don't know. I don't know where camels come from. Okay. Wait. So I think I answered that question pretty well. I think I did a really good job. I'm happy. I'm happy with how I answered. Okay, let's do the next one. Wait, did I miss a question? I think I missed a question. Did we miss the question by? Oh yeah, I think I missed this one. I'm gonna have to add this. I think I missed a question regarding nuclear talk by Gusale. So I'm gonna add this here. Gusale. I'll add that. It's a nuclear talk question, but I will ask that at the end. Okay. Gusale is asking, do you think the Iranian regime is committing a genocide on the Baluch? Iran Human Rights 2021 annual report stated that Baluch prisoners accounted for 21% of all executions in 2021, while only representing 2 to 6% of the Iran's population. All right, so I don't think there's a conscious, Qasim, correct me if I'm wrong in the live chat, but I don't think there's a conscious attempt to eliminate the Baluchi ethnicity through executions, because executions is not going to be large enough to be close to be able to commit the erasure of any kind of ethnicity. Like what numbers are we speaking, right? Like the population is much higher for any executions to be able to achieve that. Okay, I think, again, I'm guessing here, I think the reason there's a difference is two, right? One, the Baluchis in Iran are extremely more poor. They have the highest levels of poverty in Iran, I think, relative to the average, even though Iran is suffering as a whole. I think Baluchistan is suffering even more greatly relative to other places in Iran. So given that they're more poor, they have less access to legal representation, and less people care about them. Less people cover their problems. So executing them will lead into lesser backlashes. I mean, some people pay attention, but I mean, compared to somebody, I mean, from Tehran being executed, I guess it would get less attention. So with less of a resistance, it's easier to just pass sentences of execution without much of a protest by people, right? So that's one reason. So having less access to lawyers and representation and having less backlash. That's so there's reason number one. Also, reason number two: more poverty means higher crime rates, right? So that could be another reason. Again, I'm guessing. Okay, so because they're dealing poverty usually ends with people committing more crimes, so and they might have higher crime rates as well. Which and usually the crimes that gets you executed in Iran, a lot of them has to do with drug smuggling. So I think I would guess that especially being on the border, the Baluchistan being on the border, will make a lot of people through desperation would be tempted to be involved in illegal drug smuggling. So maybe again, these are if I'm guessing correctly, I'm guessing very well. Somebody tell me if I'm guessing correctly. Last time is saying yes. I think it's not enough harsh. What? I think this is not enough harsh and broad to be called genocide. Okay, so it's not. Yeah, it's not genocide, but is my explanations for is my explanations for higher execution numbers make sense to you, Qasim? Higher crime rates out of desperation because of poverty plus less representation. Okay, I think I give my reasons for that. All right, let's go with Idris's question. Idris is saying, did you know that French secularism or laïcité was first implemented to break the power of the monarchists? Wait, this question is so long that I have to read it off of Patreon because it's not going to be. Okay. Did you know that French secularism or laïcité was first implemented to break the power of the monarchs? The Catholic Church back then prohibited democracy, and its influence in education meant monarchists held a solid base for power. After 1871, the first elections for the Third Republic saw a monarchist majority in parliament, which offered the throne of France to someone. To prevent that from happening again, a free mandatory secular school was introduced, and 15 years later, separation of church and state. Okay, so basically, I think what the Idris is suggesting that laïcité was more of an anti-anarchist to begin with. So anti-monarchist push to begin with, which led into being anti-church later. I think that's right. So originally it was an anti-monarchist, and as a way to get a hold of the education system to stop the monarchists to get it from being elected in the parliament, they had to push back religion out of the schools, and that made laïcité into an anti-church force eventually. So originally it wasn't even about secularism. Originally it was about democracy and anti-monarchy, right? So Idris basically asks, thoughts? Do you think this can explain the difference between Anglo-Saxon secularism and French secularism? Well, let me see. I don't know. We could read this together because I don't know why there's a difference. But we could figure out why there's a difference together. Okay, I think we should read this together. Okay, let's read this together. Okay. French secularism isn't illiberal. Letting culture wars drive debate about laicity obscures similarities between France and the United States. Okay, so I think this article suggests that there is actually not that much of a difference. Okay, let's read this. The French notion. How long is this? Oh, yeah, actually, this is pretty easy. Oh, no, we can't read the rest. Oh, my God. Let me see how much of it. The French notion of laïcité or secularism has sparked a number of controversies on the global stage, particularly in the United States in recent months. A number of voices have raised concerns about the French model of laïcité, some even calling it illiberal. Others have drawn an unfavorable comparison with the U.S. model of separating church and state. Historically, France and the United States share more than they sometimes remember. Laicite itself is a notion that originated during the Enlightenment and that also inspired the United States. The United States embraced the idea of sharply limiting the state's influence over religious affairs through the U.S. Constitution's First Amendment in 1791. France adopted the same principle in 1795 before abandoning it and then fully embracing it in 1905. The circumstances in which the same concept was implemented diverged significantly. U.S.'s secularism was embedded in the experience of immigrants who fled Europe, where they were persecuted because of their religious practices. Influenced by that history, the United States Constitution's establishment cause focuses on preventing the federal government from intervening in individual religious practices. Where's the rest of this article? God damn it, I want to read the rest. Okay, let me do the 12-foot ladder thing. Let me see if I could. Why can't, there's not even a button to read the rest. Where's the list? 12-foot, let me see, 12-foot ladder. That's how you get around. There doesn't seem to be even a paywall here. Move paywall? No, it's still nothing. I still can't read. Oh. Is there no read more option? Read more? No. Guys, what do I do? How do I read the rest? I wanted to know the explanation. Okay, it seems like, okay, based on what I'm getting from the beginnings of this article, it seems like the reason the difference is not the origins. Like, I think you're going too much into the roots of the origins to see why there's a difference between United States secularism or the Anglo-Saxon secularism and France's secularism. It seems like the experiences after what led to this divergence. Can somebody tell me how I could read the rest of this? It doesn't even give me a button or anything. Like, it doesn't allow me to read the rest at all. What the hell? Okay. Idris is saying, I think there's a difference. The way I see it, French one was trying to break Catholic Church, while Anglo-Saxon is preventing religious war between different Christianities. Yeah, but I think, like, because look, the French one was fully, like, they got rid of it and they brought it back in 1905. I think recent experiences has more to do with the difference, like the immigration to the United States or the experience Europe and France has had more. I think it's not that you don't have to go that far back to see what the difference is. Like, you have to go back 100 years, not like 200 years. Yeah. I wish I could read the rest of this article. It seems pretty interesting. If you guys want to read the rest, it's called French Secularism is an Illiberal. And this is by, what website is this? It's foreignpolicy.com. Do you have to pay to be able to read the rest of this? I have a website called, like, the 12-foot ladder that usually breaks the paywalls and stuff, but it didn't work here. I don't understand. No. Okay. Hi, Skyfall. Okay. So, yeah, let me know, Idris, if you look into this article and maybe you could bring me your thoughts again next week and we could, like, dive into it a little bit more, because I'm actually very interested. But I honestly think it has more to do, like, a lot of people, like, go to the origins, like, because things change a lot. Like, the origin, like even in the question that you ask itself, it shows that it started being anti-monarchist and then it eventually led to being anti-church. So given that within that time frame it had changed so significantly, I can't imagine like the entire direction of it changed, right, within that short period of time, right, less than 100 years. So from then to now, the nature of laicite must have changed a lot more significantly, given that originally it also changed so significantly. So if you want to, I think if you want to analyze the differences, the explanation for the differences today, you have to look at more recent history rather than going back that far. God, I was really looking forward to reading that article. I'm actually very disappointed. I should have checked whether it was like. Oh, wait a minute. What did I do? Oh, yeah. All right. Oh, we have a music guy question. Music guy is asking. Wait, let me actually see if you guys are mentioning anything else. Yeah, okay. Okay. Music guy is asking, with the Pakistan Taliban leader recently being killed, alhamdulillah, do you agree it's beneficial that these extremist leaders are killed off, or is there really no effect to these target killings? Of course, there's definitely an effect. Oh my God, yes, there is. Like, come on, guys. Like when Baghdadi was killed, that was a major anti-PR for ISIS, right? For Bin Laden, like it showed like it's a major symbolic win, right? And also, usually the people who are leaders are the best one at it. Like they're charisma, they have charisma, they have some leadership skills, and if you take them out, the next person, the next runner-up, is not going to be able to be that attractive to build a following, right? I mean, who's going to be, for example, they took at al-Zawahiri just recently, right? He was so much less efficient at building a following compared to Bin Laden, right? And now whoever is going to come, like many people didn't even know who al-Zawahiri is, right? And now whoever comes after him is going to be even less significant. You have lost somebody as efficient and as good at leadership and building a following as Bin Laden, and the more you go down the list, the less efficient the leader is going to be, right? So Al Qaeda, like that was a major blow to Al Qaeda. So whoever this guy was, for the TTP, that's going to be the major blow. That's a major blow to these groups. And as much as these people want to pretend that they don't mind dying, they do, right? So it's going to be hard to recruit leaders. Like if you can guarantee like that you are going to have a very unsafe life and you have to look over your shoulder all the time, there's going to be less candidates for this position. Like I mean, a lot of them talk a big talk like, yeah, like we want to be martyrs, but they piss their pants if they know that the Americans are coming for them. And if you can show that they're coming for you, and less people would be interested in that job position. But anyways, like, yeah, so I think it has a major effect. It destroys morale. It destroys morale for your enemy to be this good at taking your top leaders. Like if you can't protect your top leaders, like none of you are safe. And you're losing. Like you might pretend like, oh yeah, we're not losing, we'll come back stronger. But deep down inside, like, yeah, you're losing. They got you. They got you. It's really bad for morale, and it really helps with reducing recruiting. So yeah, it's very efficient. Keep at it. Take these mofos out. Good job. Let's actually see what happened. Let me see what happened. This is like really fresh news, by the way, at the time of the recording. This is like yesterday. Okay. So yeah, this is yesterday. Bomb kills extremist Pakistani Taliban leader in Afghanistan. Man, like right after, like the head of Al Qaeda was just killed, and now the head of Pakistani Taliban is killed. Like we're taking these people. Like good job. Like We're taking these people out. This is like, I hope this works out for Biden. Who took them out, by the way? Let me actually see. I'm assuming it was the Americans, right? A fugitive central commander of an outlawed extremist organization plotting terrorist attacks in Pakistan has been killed in a roadside bomb blast in neighboring Afghanistan. Yeah. Abdul Wali, known as Omar Khalid Khorasani, was traveling in southeastern Afghan border province Paktika late Sunday when an improvised explosive device hit his vehicle, multiple militant and Pakistani security sources said Monday. Okay, who put the bomb there? I'm going to say who can take credit for taking him out. Khorasani. Bam. This man's name was Khorasani? Jesus Christ. Khorasani's group, the Taliban Pakistan, or TTP, known as the Pakistani Taliban, also confirmed his death, saying a detailed statement will soon be issued regarding the martyrdom of their leader. Sunday's bombing occurred in Barmal, a remote Afghan district. What is he doing in Afghanistan, by the way? That's kind of sketchy. Is he meeting with the Taliban? Is Pakistani Taliban meeting with the Taliban or the Afghan Taliban? Man, the Afghani Taliban is like have no chill, right? Like they were like, yeah, we're not going to do these things, and immediately empowered, like they're doing those things that they were not supposed to do to them, like against all their agreements. This is shady. Like first of all, al-Zawahiri seemed to be under the protection of Taliban, and now this, I don't know, man. I don't know. Something's shady. Okay. Sunday, no group has immediately taken responsibility for the deadly attacks, nor did Afghanistan's Taliban government comment on it. The slain extremist commander was a founding member of the TTP, which the United States and the United Nations have designated as a global terrorist organization. TTP militants have been waging deadly attacks against Pakistani forces. The violence has intensified since the return of the Afghan Taliban to power. Yeah, because it makes it so much easier for them to attack Pakistani, go across the border and recruit and resupply and everything, and then come back. It's easy for them to go through the border, and the Pakistani military officials can't go through the borders because that would be like waging war on Afghanistan. So it says like Afghanistan being in the hands of Taliban has become very inconvenient for Pakistan, which makes it so stupid that they actually support the Taliban for them to come back in power in Afghanistan, right? So like this is like, karma for Pakistan. Killing hundreds of security personnel in Pakistan in recent months. Like, how do you like this? Like, this is what you get when you support the Taliban to come back in power in Afghanistan. Now this is going to be a hassle for you on your borders. Your border security is now being challenged. How do you like that? The TTP leadership took refuge in war-hit Afghanistan in 2015 after fleeing military operations in Pakistan, and they have since been directing cross-border attacks, mostly targeting armed forces. The militant group is known for providing recruits and shelter to leaders of the Afghan Taliban while they were directing cross-border insurgent attacks against local and United States-led foreign forces, protecting internationally recognized rulers in Kabul for almost 2 decades. The Taliban seized power in Afghanistan nearly a year ago. It's been a year already? On August 15. Oh my God, it's been a year. Wow. When the then Afghan government and its security forces collapsed in the face of stunning battlefield insurgent assaults as foreign troops withdrew. Yeah, we know this. Why are you giving us history lessons? Okay, so we just figured out what happened. By the way, thank you, Music Guy, for asking us questions that just like Music Guy sometimes ask us questions like, "What are your views on this?" And we're like, "What? When did that happen?" And we check out like literally like 2 hours ago. He asked this question as if like it's like established known thing. And then like we're like, okay, what happened just 2 hours ago? And Music Guy is asking a question about it. But anyways, good. It's good. He's keeping us on our toes. Okay, good. I think we did well with that question. Oh, I'm going to post a link for anybody who wants to come up who's a member in the community tab before I go to here's the last Patreon question. So, but first, before I answer the last Patreon question, let me post the link to the community tab. for members only, and if by the end of the question, by the end of me answering the last Patreon question, nobody comes up, I will head out. Okay. Oh, Friendly Muslim is already here. Hi, Friendly Muslim.
Hey, assalamu alaikum. Did you want me to hang out in the back while you're doing your thing?
Oh, you can always, my Friendly Muslim, you can always show up as early as you like, okay? As I love having you as a co-host, so.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, I'm here now.
Okay, cool. Okay, Gusale is asking, new round of nuclear talks. Meanwhile, Iran deploys more centrifuges. Are you expecting anything fruitful to happen at this point? Okay, yes and no, because it just seems like they can't let it go. It seemed like there was going to be no deal. Everything seems to be dead. And we're like, okay, goodbye, nuclear deal, no nuclear deal. And then they come back with like, wait, no, how about this? Okay. And now everybody is looking at this because Iran just gave up one of their red lines. Okay, it's just now it seems like okay they really want this like all sides, because for a very long time it seemed like Iran was just messing with everybody, right? Because they were asking for things that it was impossible to give, right? So there are three things that are the main sticky points. Like everything else is agreement on. The reason the deal is not going through is for three things, right? Is one, Iran wants a guarantee that this deal will remain and nobody can remove it. Like the next president can't remove it. And Biden's administration doesn't have the powers to give that, right? Like you would literally have to change the United States Constitution to be able to do that. Like and Biden cannot, like, first of all, he cannot make it law because he doesn't control Congress, right? And he cannot control the next president. So they're asking for something that he cannot give, right? Then they're asking him to remove the IRGC from the terrorist list. Again, Biden cannot even do that if he wanted to, because that's not up for him to do. That would be up for Congress, so he doesn't have the power. The Congress doesn't seem to be interested in doing that. And also, this request has nothing to do with the original JCPOA. The things that the IRGC is under sanction under is unrelated to the nuclear talks. Like there are other things that the IRGC has done supporting terrorist groups and a whole bunch of other violations that you cannot, like, this is not part of the deal. So for them to bring that to the deal, it just seems like this is not even the original JCPOA deal we had. So if they're asking for something impossible, but they're also asking for something nonsensical that is not relevant to the nuclear talks. The third thing is that there has been all this evidence that Iran has been doing enrichment of uranium in a lot of other sites that they weren't supposed to do for many years, and all that evidence is there, and people, that seems like a major violation of all the agreements that they're supposed to be having. And the Atomic Energy Agency, the International Atomic Energy Agency, has been asking for what these uranium, they have detected uranium in all these other spots, and they want clarification on that. And Iran has never been given clarification on any of those, right? Last time, correct me if I'm wrong about any of these, but I think I'm correct, right? And Iran now is asking in these deals to just ignore all of that as if it doesn't happen. And we're like, we can't ignore those. Like, what is all this enrichment of uranium in other these places? The IAEA needs clarification on all of this, right? So they're like, Iran was requesting for that all to be removed, like, out of the deal, like it never happened, right? By the way, Mossad was the organization that, like, Israel was like the one that they went into Iran, they stole this information, and they brought it out, and this is the reason why these deals. We now know Iran was not within the agreements because of Mossad's operations and stealing all the information that Netanyahu showed. Like, anyways, that's a bit longer story, right? So these three reasons seem like to be the thing that was going to make the deal not go through, right? So Iran, in last minute, like when everything seems to be dead, now has come, and they're like, they have agreed, even though they said they would never agree, okay, to ignore, like, for now, keep the IRGC within the terrorist group. So that's not one of their conditions. So that seemed like something that they would never move on, and they're moving on it. So this shows some desperation on the Iranian side, right? And I think the Europeans also came out and suggested that the whole talk about these other nuclear, the uranium that they detected in other places, enrichment and stuff like that, to that not be part of the talk with this deal. That could be the part of the talk between IAEA and Iran, and that would be a separate talks away from this deal. And with regards to the guarantee, I think the Iranians are also like stepping back, and they're accepting a guarantee for Biden, for a guarantee for the deal to last till the end of his term, right? Not overall, but just while Biden is power. And Biden's like, sure, I could give that. Okay. So this is a major step, major like leniency shown by the Iranian side. So that's why a lot of people are like, oh my God, the deal is going to go through. Okay. So it seemed like last week, if you ask me, it seemed like the deal is dead. Okay. Now that if you ask me, it seems like we're gonna have a deal. Okay. But given how things shift so dramatically, next week I could be like, you could ask me again, and I could be like, it seems like the deal is dead. So things like it's a roller coaster right now. It's a major roller coaster. But right now, as things are, it seems like things are moving in the right direction to have a deal. But again, even if there is a deal, it seems like the Republicans could just easily throw it away. So we don't know, right? So there's that. I think I did a very good job of explaining this. I think I simplified it a lot, like better than other places. Like if you, was that understandable for you, friendly Muslim?
Yes, it was very understandable. You broke it down nicely.
Yeah. D is also saying, have you seen the good things Biden has done in the last few weeks? Environment, healthcare, health for veterans. Do you think this will help his low approval ratings? Well, his low approval ratings are so dramatically low that even if this helps him, it's not going to be enough, it seems. Which is weird because Biden has been a really good president. Americans are just stupid. Yeah. Biden has been doing so many things well. Like he has reduced the drone strikes a lot, right? He pulled out of Afghanistan, even though he knew that would be a major hit to his popularity, because anybody pulling out of Afghanistan, it would have been a mess. But he still made the sacrifice because if he didn't pull, nobody else would pull, right? So he did it, even though like everybody else promised it, but he actually did it. He managed to finally convince Saudi Arabia to do peace, peace talks with the Yemenis. That seemed like an impossible thing to do. He didn't throw away Trump's the Abraham Accord stuff, because that was actually one of the few things that Trump did well. But unlike Trump, who's vengeful against everything Obama did, Biden's administration is not ideological to be like, oh, Trump did it, so it must be bad. No, this is good. Let's continue. So, I mean, there are certain things that he has done that are bad, but overall, he's been very good. So, the fact that his popularity is this low, it just means Americans just don't know. They're just dumb. Yeah, I answered these questions. Yeah, Oxymoron is saying Biden is a better president than I expected. Yeah, same. Brandon Muslim, what do you think about Biden?
I sort of reflect every sort of year, see what they've done well, see what they haven't done well. I think America's become they haven't been as at the forefront of things. I don't particularly like his style, but that's just a style thing. So it's got nothing to do with. I would want someone a bit more charismatic, a bit more better spoken, but that's just a personal preference. In terms of policy changes, I'm still on the fence until a good year or two to see what's been done well and what hasn't been done well. I think that's a fairer position to take.
I mean, he's old. He's so old. Like people are like, oh, he doesn't speak well. Like, I mean, I'm surprised he can speak at all. Like, given how old he is, like I don't know. So he used to be really good. He used to be such a sharp talker, like debater. Like I don't know if you've seen his older talks. He was very talented.
So what do you think about Trump possibly coming back and the next elections, which is it 2024 now, 2025? The two years, right?
2020, yeah, 2 years, 2024. Yeah, it seems likely, and that's terrifying. I really hope. Like, did you just hear that they raided his house? The FBI raided Trump's house.
Oh, I read in someone's comments somewhere, but I didn't. Then I went to sleep and then.
I can't believe it. By the way, this shows that how United States is a better country. Like, what other country raids a former president's house because of crimes like this? You know what I mean? Like, other countries, they're like, yeah, you're a politician, you're immune from the law and stuff like that. So many other countries, right? But United States is just one of those countries where, like, this is, by the way, this is historic. Like, this has never happened. Like, there has never been a raid on a former president's house in the United States. This is very encouraging. And also, this is not political. Like, the Biden administration is like, they're like, we don't know what's happening. Like, this is just a law doing its thing.
Well, how is it sort of caught up when he starts talking about coming back into the frame? A little bit suspect timing, maybe, perhaps? I don't know. I mean, what have they raided his house for, though? What's the actual...
Apparently he had, I don't know, apparently he had access to confidential information that it was illegal for him to have access to it. Like, let me actually see. This just happened. So this just happened like 6 hours ago. So I don't know what's happening, man. Let's look at this together, maybe figure it out. Do you want to find out?
Absolutely. This is interesting. This is the good stuff.
Yeah, it is. Why is this banner so messy? Oh my god, these people don't know how to make websites. Let me find it better. The Washington Post, the New York Times. Which one of these is going to give me something that I could scroll through without like a banner? Okay, this one is good. The New York Times is giving me a better. Here. Okay. Oh yeah, I was right. The search appears to be focused on materials Trump took from the White House. So apparently he just took some stuff he was not supposed to have. He's so dumb. He's
like a vase, like a flower pot. And they're recovering a flower that he took, or a plant called
confidential. Yeah. So okay, let's read. Former President Donald J. Trump said on Monday that the FBI had searched his Palm Beach, Florida home and had broken open a safe. Oh my God, they opened his safe. An account signaling a major escalation in the various investigations into the final stages of his presidency. Okay, so this is great. You know why? Because even if they raided his house over something minor, okay, the fact that he opened his safe, they might find something criminal or really damning that is unrelated to the reason why they raided his house, right? So this might just be an excuse, and they raided his house, and they might find so many incriminating stuff in his safe, right? So this is going to be interesting, right? The search, according to multiple people familiar with the investigations, appeared to be focused on material that Mr. Trump had brought with him to Mar-a-Lago, his private club and residence, when he left the White House. Those boxes contain many pages of classified documents. According to a person familiar with the contents, Mr. Trump delayed returning 15 boxes of material requested by officials with the National Archives for many months, only doing so when there became a threat of action to retrieve them. The case was referred to the Justice Department by the archives early this year. Look at this house. By the way, this house that he has, right, is so much better than the White House, right? So he hates living in the White House. The White House is like such a downgrade for him.
Yeah, he's got a golf course. I mean, it's a whole thing there, isn't it? Golf course.
Yeah. The search marked the latest remarkable turn in the long-running investigations into Mr. Trump's actions before, during, and after his presidency, and even as he weighs announcing another candidacy for the White House. I really hope this stops him from becoming a president. I don't know, like something. It might actually help him. I don't know. Like maybe his followers will be like, oh my God, he must be doing something, like he must be a major threat to the deep state. That's why they're coming at him. This is why he should be president. It came as the Justice Department has stepped up a separate inquiry into Mr. Trump's efforts to remain in office after his defeat at the polls in the 2020 election, and as the former president also faces an accelerating criminal inquiry in Georgia and civil actions in New York. I don't understand, like, why classified documents, you have to take them in the format of a paper that you could put it in a safe. Like, can't you just like take a picture of it or like get a PDF version of it? Like, what are like? I don't understand. Like, yeah.
There's two problems so far. Like, number one, the National Archives are aware of it, of the 15 boxes of information that he has, and they've been requesting it, but he's been slow to give it back to them. Apparently, obviously from the story. So, is this stuff groundbreaking, or is it just stuff that he's supposed to have returned and he hasn't? Because they're aware of this stuff. So, I'm surprised at the conflict here. It's not secret information. It's stuff that they know that he has, and they've been asking for it for months. He's just been slow to return it. So
why is he be so? Why wouldn't he return it? Also, why would you just keep it where you know people would like? I don't know. Like, if I was keeping, I wouldn't, like, if the FBI wanted documents from me, I wouldn't put it in my safe, the exact place where they will go looking for it. Right? And also, why, if they already know you have it, like, what information do you, like, why don't the FBI asks for information and you just deny it to them? Like, this is so weird. Like, why would you do that? Maybe he wanted the FBI to raid him so that he could be like, look, this might be an ad. This might be a Trump ad. This might be an invitation to the FBI to come raid me. Like, come raid me, Daddy FBI, so my followers like could be like makes me look like a victim. This is
possibly.
like a.
Yeah, I think he's too clever to keep his stuff at the golf course. Personally, I think he's a little bit too clever, because he knows that if they're going to go look for it, that's where they're going to look. You know, so why keep it at the golf course? They're already aware of this information. He's been slow to return it. I don't know. I think we've got to hear this one play out. But you're also right that it could work in his favor, and he plays the victim card. That, look, they don't want me to come in power. As soon as what are they so scared of? What are they so scared of? And this leads into his next campaign. Could be a tactic.
You know what Trump hates the most, I think, more than anything else in the world, more than anything else. What do you think it is?
Hair shampoo and hair products.
No. It's people not talking about him.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. That could be something. Yeah, when people aren't talking about it.
I think there's a chance that this is Trump's way of getting back in the news. I don't know. Am I wrong? Like, I think like this is like come get your files so I could like just. I think like he just watches TV wanting to be covered. Like, he wants to be on CNN, he wants to be on Fox News, he wants to be people mentioning Trump, and if he just watches news and people are not mentioning his name, that's what depresses him, right? So he wants the FBI to come raid him so that he's back on the news. I don't know, maybe this is I don't know. Mr. Trump has long cast the FBI as a tool of Democrats who have been out to get him, and the surge set off a furious reaction among his supporters in the Republican Party. Yeah, exactly. This is what he wants. He wants people that are like, yeah, why are you going after Trump? Yeah, Trump is good. You guys are evil. This is what he wants. And on the far right of American politics, Representative Kevin McCarthy of California, the Republican leader in the House, suggested that he intended to investigate Attorney General Merrick B. Garland if Republicans took control of the House in November. Again, some Republicans are moving away from Trump, and Trump doesn't like it. If Trump becomes a victim, more Republicans would want to become politically irrelevant by saying this is wrong, and then again they will have to go back to Trump's camp. This might work in his favor, unless there's an actual charge, which will stop him from becoming a candidate. I don't think there will be a charge. I think maybe there is. I don't know. I hope there is a charge. I can't imagine ever like Trump in handcuffs going to prison. I don't think it will ever get escalated to that point. But one can dream, one could hope, right? The FBI would have needed to convince a judge that it had probable cause. Yeah, somebody in the live chat, Oxymoron, is saying, was due process followed? Otherwise, it would be tyranny. I mean, of course it was. This is the United States. What do you think this is? Do you think this is India? Yeah, the FBI would have needed to convince a judge that it had probable cause that a crime had been committed and that agents might find evidence at Mar-a-Lago to get a search warrant. Yeah, so they got a search warrant. Proceeding with a search on a former president's home would almost surely have required sign-off from top officials at the Bureau at the Justice Department. The search, however, does not mean prosecutors have determined that Mr. Trump committed a crime. Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. Don't get your hopes up. This, I don't know if this is going to lead into any proof of crime, but we'll see. An FBI representative declined to comment, as did Justice Department officials. The FBI Director Christopher A. Wray was appointed by Mr. Trump. Oh my God! These are the people Trump selected himself, and now they're coming after him. Let me see. Okay, let's read this. Mr. Trump was in the New York area at the time of the search. Another day in paradise, he said Monday night during a telephone rally for Sarah Palin, who is running for congressional seat in Alaska. Eric Trump, on one of his sons, told Fox News that he was the one who informed his father that the search was taking place, and he said the search warrant was related to presidential documents. Okay, yeah. Anyways, I don't want to read the rest of this. Do you want to? Should I read the rest of this? What do you think?
No, you don't have to. I mean, it's just covered it. I mean, it's just.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll see. Yeah. So there's that. Yeah, that's historic. This is historic. This is like major history happening right now. This is like Watergate, but bigger. Like, do you understand that people for many years from now are going to refer to this the way we refer to Watergate? Like, this is history in the making. This is a very significant moment right now. I don't know if people understand.
I've got it like he didn't return his library book and they've come to get it back. Like, that's how I feel about the situation at the moment. I don't think that a bit excessive, but
I don't think you're appreciating, for any Muslim, how significant this is. This is a big deal. And the FBI raided the house of a former president. Like, the legal system in the United States is going after the former president. Like, even with Nixon, they didn't do that. With Nixon, like, the next president, like, let him off the hook. They pardoned him right away, even without any charges or anything. So nobody got in trouble. This is like next level stuff. This is like a new level, even by U.S. standards, for the FBI to raid a former president's house.
Time will tell, man. I mean, if it's nothing, like they actually come up with nothing and it becomes nothing, then it'll be last week's sort of. It's not Watergate. I don't think this will be as far. Like, look, we retrieved documents that we knew about, and he was just late to return them, but we recovered them. That's the history of it. It's not, unless they find something in his safe, like I don't know, the plans to Area 51 or something like that, and we discover that he knows about the alien invasion that's about to take place. Then all right, fine. Then then it'll be Watergate. Then it'll be Florida Gate, But yeah, no, it's time will tell on this one.
Oh, Susie's here. Susie's in the live chat. Hi, Susie.
Oh, hello,
Susie. We answered. Susie, yeah, we should, yeah. I hope one day we'll get Susie to co-host Secular Jihadists a little bit. That would be amazing.
Oh, is there a time difference or just not available during your...
Yeah, she's not available at this time.
Yeah, that's okay. Oh, when are you guys going to, heading out to Germany for the conference? Plug. No?
Yeah, I'm going next week, August 17th. I think I'm leaving. Yeah. So in less than almost in a week. In 1 week, we're going to Germany. I'm staying there for 5 days. I'm going to see Richard Dawkins. I'm going to see Ali Rizvi.
You're not going to see Ali Dawah.
I don't know why I said Ali Dawah. Don't tell Ali Rizvi I said Ali Dawah. Jesus Christ. Ali Dawah has been on my mind because I've been making videos on him. Okay? I'm going to see Babak, which is my co-host on the Persian channel. But more importantly than all of this, I'm going to see Susie. So I'm very excited about that. Me and Susie will take pictures. So the person that I'm excited about most to see is number 1, Susie. Number 2 and 3, Ali Rizvi and Babak from the Persian show, right? And number 4 would be Richard Dawkins.
Number 5.
Yeah. Number 5.
I think you should go to the You should go to the website, share the website with everybody so that they're aware of it.
Yeah. Wait, I don't know. I forgot the link. I don't even know what to search for.
Isn't it Discontent 2020, Dissent 2022?
Yeah, something. I thought it was celebrating Dissent, but that's not what's showing up. Hold on. I can't find it. Susie, help me out. What do I even search for?
I'm so Habibi, let the friendly Muslim take care of this. Hold on 1 second. Processing.
I thought that was the name last time. International Dissent Dawkins. Wow. Oh my God. I don't even know what is coming. But what the name is. Jesus Christ. Don't tell anybody. I'm just bad at marketing. We did a really good job promoting this. Soha, are you going to be there? So I think I'm going to see Soha there too. Is Soha going to be there? Veria is going to be there. Veria, yeah, I'm excited to see Veria. Yeah, Veria would be Veria would be number 5. Did you find it? Susie, what did I even search for? I don't.
I'm working on it. Sorry, caller. 1 second.
Okay, let me search for Dawkins, Armin, Germany. Because I'm on that list, and I know Susanna is there too, so I could look. God, nothing is showing up.
Okay, none
of the things I show. Oh my God, we're being spammed. Oh, so I got rid of the bad.
Oh, it's called Celebrating Dissent. Here we go, 2022.
That's what I searched for.
Okay, hold on.
Put it in the private chat.
Yeah,
okay, whoever is doing the website, they're not good at SEO.
Oh yeah, they're not. It's coming up website risky. Oh, that's why it's not.
Oh, so it's not my fault. Okay. Qasim saying, when will you be in Iran? I would love to see you guys. I actually have thought about that as a form of suicide. If I ever needed to commit suicide. Friendly Muslim, why? You must be overweight. You're always microwaving something. Are you overweight? You keep eating stuff. Okay, this link, I can't click on the link. I need it in the private chat. So maybe I could put it on my phone and then use it from my phone, send it to my Facebook, and then open it on Facebook because it doesn't let me click on it. Yeah. Thank you, Susie. So this website apparently doesn't show up on search engines when you search for it. You have to have a link. This is horrible. I don't know why. All right, so this is it. So we're going to be at this event, which is going to be over 2 days, only 10 days left, 50 speakers, 7 discussion panels. I'm going to be on one of those. So the main speakers are Richard Dawkins, Mariam Namazi, Insaf Haider, and Ibn Warraq. All right. So I will be speaking. Oh, wow. Okay, Susanna is going to be on the Susanna is going to be on the second panel. No, the first panel. So there's going to be an opening session, which Mariam Namazi and Widu Wiz are going to be speaking on that. And right after, Susanna and Ali Rizvi are going to be speaking on the first panel, which is about blasphemy, Islamophobia, and free expression. Fantastic. So Susanna is going to be on the same panel as Ibn Warraq and Annie Gaylor. Amazing. What an opportunity. Okay. And I'm speaking on the same day. So the first day, which is the last panel on that day. Oh, I'm speaking right before Dawkins. I'm speaking right before. Look at me. I'm speaking right before Dawkins. So I'm going to be on a panel called about gods and religious morality, and I'm going to be on a panel with Suhail Ahmed, Mimsy Vids, which is amazing. Oh, I need to email Mimsy Vids. Shit. Oh my god, I need to add that. And with Nuria, I need to add that to my list right now. God damn it. Email, because she's the head of our panel, and she emailed us, and I haven't responded to it. Email Mimsy. Okay. I don't even. God, I'm so bad at this. Why do they even invite me? I don't know. Why do they even invite me? Anyways, come to this event. Again, I'm gonna put this link.
But who's on the second day, man? Sell the event, bro. Listen, the second day is Harris speaking.
Oh yes. Sorry. Okay, so wait, let me see. First day, there's another panel about human rights, and Dan Barker is on that one. Oh, Nina is there. Oh, Harris Sultan is on the first day as well, right? So they're talking about atheists and the human right to protection. Okay. The hijab panel. Oh wow, Annie is going to be on the hijab panel. Rana Ahmed is on the hijab panel. Okay, cool. Oh, this is just a artsy thing. I know who she is. She does like really artsy things too. Okay, so interview with Richard Dawkins on the first day, and then there's going to be some awards. On the second day, opening session will be with We Do Vids again. Yay! And there's going to be a panel about terror, trauma, and survival. Mimsy will be there on that one. Oh my god, this commie guy, Milad is gonna be speaking on terror, trauma, and survival. He's gonna turn this. Oh my god, we got a super sticker. Thank you so much, Sand. We got a super sticker from Sick. Guys, super chats are back up here on this channel. So if you want to use super stickers, you can. Thank you so much. Susanna is saying LOL. Friendly Muslim, thanks for helping Armin promote. Yes, I'm doing it. So I need your help. I'm doing such a bad job. Why did you put this commie on this panel? He's gonna turn this into something about worker issues. I know Milad. Okay, Milad turns every conversation into a conversation about communism, and he's not gonna say communism, but he's gonna talk about worker. He's gonna mention the word worker a couple of times in this panel. I think so. Like he has to divert it into something about communism. Okay. Oh, and then we have a Raif Badawi call and conference action. So Raif Badawi's wife and stuff is going to be speaking. Chosen Haram. Oh, there's going to be a gay dance here apparently, a harami dance. Cool. And there's an ex-Muslim discussion in German. There's a lunch break. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. Actually, the second thing that after seeing Susanna, the things that I'm looking up forward to the most are these lunch breaks. Okay, I'm actually imagining like I'm actually not that. I'm not really joking. Okay, I really like the food that they serve there. I'm looking forward to that. Like, all right, this is another panel: identity politics, racism, and fundamentalism. Sohail is speaking here. Zara is speaking here. I don't know. Yeah, so that's good. Zara is there. Yeah, we're gonna see Zara again. So I'm excited to see Zara. Poetry reading. I'm not interested in that, but cool. Where is Veria? Is Veria speaking in any of these? Oh, here's another panel. Mariam is speaking. Oh, I know her. Hey, I know this guy. Muhammad Hisham is speaking. I can't wait. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him as well. So I don't know. Veria is invited, but I don't know. Is he speaking or is he just going to be sitting and watching us speak? I don't know. Susanna is saying Armin's appetite is insane. Yes. Susanna, you're the only person that I'm looking forward to seeing more than food.
Wow, that's sweet. So who's your number 5 then?
Huh? Oh, my number 5. Zara.
Yeah.
Wait. Zara and Rana and Muhammad Hisham and those will all be number 5.
You can't do multiple number 5s. Like
Hey.
how does that work? You suddenly like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then suddenly on 5.
Okay, 5.
I choose
5
5
would
people as
be.
my 5.
Did I already pick 5? Okay, 5 would be Rana.
Okay, all right, fine. Well, I'll tell Harris about that then. I'll say you didn't even make the top 5.
Oh wait, Harris is there. Sorry, I forgot. Harris is 5. Sorry, I forgot Harris.
That's not. I think he's your number 6. I think you're just being nice. You didn't want to leave him out your top 5.
No, I'm just not. I'm not. You know what? Why are you doing this to me? You know, I'm not good at remember. I'm not good at like these things. Okay, so don't. You're getting me in trouble. Yeah, you're just here. You're just here to just try to turn me against Harris. I know it's not gonna work.
He was talking about it, and I think I reminded he was having the same problem with it. But no, I mean, you're bringing attention to issues that people face, and
actually, I'm gonna put Nuria ahead of Harris. How about that? I'm looking forward to seeing Nuria more than Harris.
What?
Why are you so shocked?
Yeah, but like Harris is like your boy. I mean, like you've known him for like.
I know. I'm just messing with. I just want. That's what because I want to mess with him because he's like, he just mistreats Nuria. I think like Nuria. Like I watch their show sometimes, and I think like he doesn't treat her very well. I'm actually when I watch their show, it encourages me to be nicer to Susanna because I'm trying to be less like Harris. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that to Susanna. This is like not nice. I have to be mindful not to do this to Susanna.
Controversy on the ex-Muslim showdown.
Like I treat Susanna better than Harris treats Nuria. That's my claim here. Okay.
Clip it. We're gonna deal with it on Sunday Scoop. We're gonna get the reaction from Harris Sultan on Sunday. Watch this space, people.
Yeah.
Let's get it excited. Right. So moving. What I would want your opinion, and I don't know if you're starting beef on it. It's all friendly fire, guys. Have you seen this story about Mr. Wellerman?
No,
because Harris has got a bit of an issue with him at the moment on Twitter because he made a video.
Oh, that guy! Yes, that guy.
Have you? Do you want to go through the video?
No, I don't know. Okay, yeah, sure. Let me go figure.
Right.
Like I know who that guy is. That guy has a major history, but I don't know what his issue is with Harris Sultan.
Well, Harris has taken exception. I'll put the link in the private chat for the video.
Oh yeah, thank you. Oh, thank you.
And so, I'd like to get your take on it also about, how you feel about the video he's made. And
let me close all of this, and share the screen. This thing, what are we looking at here? Okay. That was it, long.
I never knew you were so talented on the dance floor. Carry on.
What?
Those were some serious moves, man. I didn't realize you were so flexible.
Yeah? Okay. Thank you. Oh. What the hell? We never say, look who's he's showing. Like he's saying the message is something like this: dear white people, it's okay to hate Muslims. And he's showing the picture of the friendly ex-Muslim. He's showing a picture of Abdullah. Have you ever heard Abdullah say it's okay to hate Muslims? This is such an unfair characterization of what's happening here.
There's no audio, by the way. Just so you're aware.
Oh, there was no audio?
No.
Okay, let me show it again.
People, if you heard about the growth, don't forget to hit subscribe.
Do you have audio now?
Yeah.
Okay. So look at this. Look at what this guy says.
Button below. Now let's get into it. You've probably heard about the growing ex-Muslim movement. These are the ex-Muslims of North America, the Council of Ex-Muslims Britain, and dozens of others that promote a similar message. Their message is simple to understand, and it goes something like this. Dear white people, it's totally okay to hate Muslims because we were once Muslim. They write books about their journey out of Islam and articles about...
You couldn't have found a worse example to show, the friend showed the picture of the friendly Muslim Abdullah as an example of ex-Muslims who say it's okay to hate Muslims. Like, have you ever heard Abdullah say that? Abdullah says the exact opposite of this. The most opposite, like among all ex-Muslims that he could have chosen as an example of somebody who's anti-Muslim, who would say that, oh, it's okay to hate Muslims. This is the last person that would say something like that. Like, this is a person that will hunt you down if you go and promote hatred for Muslims. Abdullah will challenge. Abdullah is like the person that would, like, if one of the ex-Muslims says something remotely close to making it okay to hate Muslims, Abdullah would be on you. Abdullah would be like, what is this? Abdullah is the person that that it keeps us in check to make sure that we're not spreading hatred. Like, this is like, you can see how this guy is full of crap and how much he doesn't know what he's talking about. Given the example that he chooses, like, he's talking about Islam, he's like anti-Allah, he's anti-religion. Abdullah is the most pro-Muslim among us. What is he talking about? Oh my God. Friendly Muslim, did you have the audio this time? Oh.
Yeah, we had the audio.
Yeah, Oxymoron saying Abdullah Samir's voice is so calm and soothing. Yeah, he's the most chill one among us. I don't understand. This man is full of crap. I mean, among us ex-Muslim, okay, friendly Muslim, you're a Muslim, okay? Do you get, like, when you watch our content, do you get a sense that we are promoting hatred of Muslims?
I like the ones who are very clear to make sure that this is not against Muslims, and it's not. But sometimes the lines are crossed a little bit on some. On the whole, I know that you and Harris, and again, I'm just saying about Abdullah. I haven't seen anything that stands out for him. I'm not familiar with all his work, but generally, I haven't seen him. He's always attacking the ideology, essentially. And you and Harris are very prominent in making sure we're against the ideology and religions in total, not against Muslims. So I appreciate that. That's why I brought this to your attention, because I think there is a difference between actual hatred and the ones that are vocal and the ones who kind of lose track on it to make sure.
But I think we do more than just like making clear that we're not against Muslims. We go out of our way to defend Muslims, don't we? Like on Atheist Republic and Secular Jihadists? Yeah.
That too, absolutely.
Yeah.
You and Harris are at the forefront of that.
Yeah, like I sometimes feel like Atheist Republic and Secular Jihadists and Harris Sultan, like, we bring attention to Muslims being mistreated more than most Muslim channels that I follow. Do you know what I mean? Like, we constantly highlight Muslims being abused, I don't know, in India, in China, or in Europe, and everywhere that happens. And like, when I watch Muslim Dawah channels, they don't cover it as much as we do. So, like, we're at the forefront at, like, standing against anybody who's, like, attacking Muslims or being anti-Muslim. So I don't know what the hell these people, what is this man talking about? Okay. I mean, Apostate Prophet even is not anti-Muslim. Okay. So Harris Sultan is not anti-Muslim. Mariam, like, look at the organizations he showed. Like, let me see.
Message.
Oh my God. Ex-Muslims of North America is definitely not anti-Muslim. Full of crap. You're full of crap. And it's showing the Council of Ex-Muslims of Britain. The Council of Ex-Muslims of Britain is so friendly to Muslims. Okay? We had Muslim volunteers when we were working at the Council of Ex-Muslims of Britain. Okay? We were, in fact, Mariam Namozi, okay, who's the head of this council, okay? She is like a little bit, maybe like some people are like too aggressive when it comes to, like, she's like very left-leaning, okay? Very, like, she's a communist, right? And very far left. And she goes out, like, if she ever notices anybody being bigoted in any way, she goes after. Sometimes arguably she goes too far, right? I mean, most of the time she's amazing, okay? But sometimes if there's any critique of her, it's not that she's anti-Muslim. Sometimes she sees bigotry maybe where bigotry doesn't even exist. Like that's what the critique of her is, not that she's like anti-Muslim. Oh my, like these are the worst organizations that you could use as an example. Like I think these people can't just tell the difference between being anti-Islam and anti-Muslim. Oh my god. Let me see what else he says.
Britain and dozens of others that promote a similar message. Their message is simple to understand and it goes something like this. Dear white people, it's totally okay to hate Muslims because we were once Muslim.
That has never been our message. Never has that been our message. Oh, Ibn Qayyim is here too. Hi Ibn Qayyim, we're watching this video together. Oh, where did he go? Okay, here.
They write books about their journey out of Islam and articles about...
Okay, now you're putting... Okay, sure. Ayan Hirsi Ali has a lot of problematic views. Okay, she's like associated with all these right-leaning, far-right people. Okay, so yeah, I could see like her having a lot of issues, but you're like grouping her with all these other ex-Muslims, especially like, you know, those other organizations, and that person that you showed doesn't have the views that Ayan Hirsi Ali has, like all of them, and they call her out on that. We have called Ayan Hirsi Ali out on her bigotry on this channel, haven't we, Friendly Muslim?
I wasn't too familiar with her, but I mean, again, I've been sort of like a year where I've been more sort of watching some of you guys' content. So, but
yeah,
if you say you have, then I completely believe you, and I would support that message.
We called her out on her exaggerating of creeping Sharia, of her fear-mongering, of her treating like every Muslim. It seems to be like most Muslims seem to be potential, ticking time bomb, like things that suggest that like Muslims could not be, civilized. That's a lot of things that he suggests that we have a problem with. We have called her out on that. So again, this guy is generalizing to like all ex-Muslims together. Like, is that exactly the things that we shouldn't be doing with Muslims? Like treating them all as if they're the same. Okay, if it's wrong to do that to Muslims, it's also wrong to do that to ex-Muslims.
Eating bacon, while some even post videos of shredding the Quran into pieces.
That's base. Yeah, I shred the Quran on camera into pieces. What does that got to do with Muslims? Okay, that's just a piece of paper. Shredding the Quran into pieces is just completely based. I support that. I support that prophet who did that. I do that as well. Again, you're confusing the ideology with the people. I shred the Quran and I support Muslims.
Eating bacon.
What do you think about that for any Muslim? Do you think that's possible?
You destroyed your own property, essentially, was what you did. You owned a book or a piece of property and you destroyed it. You're entitled to do so. That's what the law says.
Thank you so much. See, I'm not even saying that. There's a Muslim who's saying that. Okay, this is not an ex-Muslim. This is Muslim, an ex-Muslim. And look, friend Muslim, do you think we're friends? I consider you a friend. You think
yeah. No,
see?
No,
okay,
absolutely.
so,
but
okay.
I don't like it, but he has a right to do it, and that's fine too. I mean, that's
but I don't do it in front of you. I know because you don't like it, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, I appreciate that, but if you wanted to, you have a right to destroy your property, which is essentially what it is. And
I know, but
yeah.
But I don't just shred the Quran, okay? When I shred the Quran, okay, I do it for free speech and stuff, and I also make sure I give you trigger warning, right? So, for example, I would never shred the Quran in front of you, right? Like I would never do it because I don't want to upset anybody, especially my friend. You know what I mean? If I shred the Quran, I'm like people are trying to intimidate us and say like this, you can't do this, and we're just trying to fight against that intimidation tactic, and that's why we shut the Quran. But we also don't want to hurt Muslims unnecessarily, so we give trigger warnings and we tell them like, we're about to shred the Quran, so please look away if you don't like that. All right, so this is not an anti-Muslim thing. This is like a fight against intimidation tactic thing. Yeah. Anyways, let's continue.
While some even post videos of shredding the Quran into pieces.
Base
apostle prophet. Global animosity towards Muslims, ex-Muslims have latched onto a highly lucrative grift.
Lucrative? Dude, like how is it lucrative? Like I don't understand. Like Do you know that we're like barely like making it, like our budget, like we're not every month, we're like barely meeting our expenses. So if it's lucrative, like let me know who's like paying these other expenses.
Yeah, who's the most lucrative ex-Muslim at the moment? And I think that would be Apostate Prophet, and he's still got a full-time job, I believe, because he can't do it full-time, basically. So, and again, all the Dawa guys also, they are also, full-time workers as well. That no one's, they still have full-time jobs. We all still have obligations.
I mean, I bet what he's doing is more lucrative than what we're doing. Oh no, actually no. I thought his channel would be bigger. Hey, Ben Kaim, you keep coming in and out. Are you here now? Okay, let's watch the rest of the video.
Animosity towards Muslims, ex-Muslims have latched onto a highly lucrative grift. They are rewarded with attention and money for telling slobbering racist white suburbanites exactly what they want to hear.
We don't, actually. We tell them, like, we call out the bigots. First of all, actually, white we did. I think I just did a bigoted thing because he just said white, not far right. Hold on.
Attention and money for telling slobbering racist white suburbanites exactly what they want to hear.
No, we don't. We don't. We have been invited on far right and right-leaning platforms, and on those platforms, we have called them out. We have told them, like, first of all, they invited us to attack Islam, but because we know what they wanted us to. I mean, at least I did this. Okay, I knew, like, on these far right platforms, they thought I'm an ex-Muslim, so they invited me to attack Islam, okay? And I did that. I attacked Islam and Christianity because I know that's what they didn't want me to hear. And I also told them that the best way to attack Islam is to befriend Muslims, okay? And I also told them that Christianity, like religion as a whole, is a problem, not just Islam. So I told them the things that they didn't want me to hear. They didn't want to hear from me, right? So we're not just like dancing to their tune, right? So this is not right, okay? And I know a lot of other ex-Muslims, like I've seen the guy that he showed, like on the Abdullah, I've seen him call out far-right bigots, okay? I've seen Harris Sultan call out far-right bigots, okay? In fact, we're against Islam because we consider it a right-leaning ideology, okay? And also, I've seen, the ex-Muslim of North America has consistently been against far-right ideology. And also it's like far-right bigots. It shows the picture of the Council of Ex-Muslims of Great Britain, who is more left-leaning than all of us combined. Like he's like not only left-leaning, extremely left-leaning. That organization is very left-leaning. Okay, that's an organization that is founded by a communist. Okay, so I'm like, oh yeah, we're getting in line with like far-right bigots. Sure. Like, has he done like any research, or he's just like saying things that his audience like to hear?
Here about Islam, which is why, surprise, surprise, they are partly funded and heavily supported by the Israel lobby.
Are you serious, guys? This is the joke on our channel. Okay, guys. Okay, sure. Okay, I wish. I'm lost for words. This is what they're gonna go by. Like, this has become such a meme right now. Yeah, sure. We're funded by the Jews. This sounds. If I wanted to use your own methods, I would go like, you sound anti-Semitic, right? Everything is funded by the Jews. Hey, yeah, sure. Everything is funded by the Jews. Everything you don't like is funded by the Jews. Is that how it works? Goddamn anti-Semitic mother. What do you think about this?
I think you have to play a little bit more for us to see where he's going with it. But
look at this article.
Yeah, okay. We're funded by the Jews.
Article here. It was written by Daniel Pipes, a man identified as an anti-Muslim hate preacher within the Israeli-funded Islamophobia industry. Earlier this year, he was asked whether the ex-Muslim movement had played a role in warming attitudes in the Arab world towards Israel.
Yes, it does. I didn't mention it, but almost invariably, these ex-Muslims are pro-Israel. I have yet to meet one who is not.
Okay, that proves that we're funded by. First of all, I am neither against or pro-Israel. I like some things about Israel, and I'm against many policies of Israel. I call out human rights violations by Israel. Okay, I like Israel's entrepreneurship. I like many things in Israel, and I hate many things about Israel. Okay, I think the occupation of West Bank is illegal. I think the people in Gaza Strip are extremely mistreated, and I think the government of Israel has been taken over by by right-leaning loons, by religious dogma. Okay, and I think that there are many things in Israeli politics that seems to want to make the lives of Palestinians on purpose worse and make radicalism more significant as a way to create an enemy that it has to fight. So I have been constantly criticizing Israel for its human rights violations and illegal actions. And I call the current situation in Palestine apartheid. Okay. So, and I'm an ex-Muslim. Okay, that doesn't mean I hate Israel, because I love many things about it. I think Israel could do so much better. Okay, I appreciate that Israel is one of the most secular countries in the Middle East. I appreciate Israel's support for gay rights. There are many things about Israel I like as well, and so I can't look at a country and be like for it or against it as a whole. That doesn't make any sense about any country. Okay, but. So that's ridiculous. That person's claim is ridiculous, but that doesn't prove that we're funded by. That's your proof that we're like funded by Israelis' lobbies? Like, I don't know, understand. I mean, we'd be doing a lot better if we were funded. By the way, I wouldn't turn down any support by anybody. Okay, like if you want to send me cash, like I have like pay my PayPal. PayPal is right there under this video. You could become a patron. You could say, hey, any lobby of any country. Okay, I'm not going to change my tune on anything, but if you want to send money our way, please do. Please support this channel. Guys, like chat. If you want to support this, oh wait, yeah, somebody did support us from. Wait a minute, we have been supported. We have. Is this? No, that's rupees. Sorry, I thought those were shekels. Yeah. Anyways,
no, that was Hindu water. No, that wasn't Israel. It's fine. That was rupees from the extremist Hindus. No, sorry, wrong country. My bad. Yeah, carry on.
Okay.
Make no mistake, these ex-Muslims are paid handsomely for their time, because it not only.
Wait, am I missing out on this money train? Are they all like? Am I the only one who's not getting paid handsomely by this work? Like, is Harris Sultan not telling us something? Is Abdullah Samir not telling us something? Maybe like he's right. Maybe I'm the only one left out. I might not do. Maybe it's because I'm criticizing Israel. Maybe I'm left out. I don't know. Can somebody like, hey, Harris Sultan, Abdullah Samir, Apostle Prophet, if you guys are getting paid heavily, handsomely by Israel, like, why have guys, like, I'm not gonna take much of your share, but please help a brother out. Like, let me know what are you doing? Who are your contacts? What do I need to do? I've been so open in telling Mossad that I am willing to, work for them, and I have received nothing. So I don't understand what this is about. Like, why am I not getting all this money?
Not only puts Israel, but also right-wing America and the military-industrial complex firmly in their back pocket. I mean, it's not a bad gig if you can get it, which is why in the ex-Muslim
I must be doing something wrong. I don't understand.
Telling of history and the contemporary world, Muslims are portrayed as backward savages, while
Okay, keep showing Iron Sally. That's not all of us.
Western countries are hailed as bastions of enlightenment and liberty.
Wait, but Western countries are bastions of liberty, aren't they? Friendly Muslim, are they not?
Well, bastions. Well, as it seems, I mean, that's it. Whether we've got an ideal solution to all problems is yet to be seen. I think that's always being worked upon. But yeah, there's free voting, and we've got things that we need to work on. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot more freedom essentially than to do it. And it's
okay, to be fair, like, we could add Western countries plus Japan, South Korea, I don't know, Taiwan, Hong Kong until recently, Australia. So not all Western, but a lot of Western. Yeah, I mean, by Western, I guess we don't mean really in the West, because a lot of like Argentina, I don't know. Anyways, let's continue. But I think it's objectively true that they're bastions of liberty. Like, what are we supposed to do? Not say what's true? I don't know. Like, I mean, if they're wrong,
Western
yeah, I mean,
No, you've got a right to support your secularist views.
I mean,
And open
I'm not
democracy.
even supporting. I'm not even support. This is not even a statement of support. This is just acknowledging what's true. Just like what
Yeah.
are we supposed to do? Lie? Like, oh yeah, no, Western countries are not more liberal, more free than Middle Eastern ones. They're like exactly the same. Like, am I supposed to lie about that? I understand. This is like a ridiculous request.
countries are hailed as bastions of enlightenment and liberty. During the global war on terror,
Okay, maybe. How about this? How about they're not bastions? Like, they're better. Okay, because I don't know how you define a bastion, because they have a lot of problems. Like, they're also responsible for a lot of human rights violations, right? Like United States, for example, right? So maybe I don't know what.
Yeah, bastion is a bit. Yeah, bastion is a bit thing. I mean,
okay, yeah.
Yeah, we'll move on
Yeah.
to the next point.
Yeah, so but not bastion, but like better than other countries.
step forward to carry the flag for Western military aggression.
See, like he keeps using Ayan Hersali. Okay, so okay, she has joined the dark side. She went with the far right people. Okay, this is not all of us have done that. Like, why are you keep using this as a example for all ex-Muslims?
Aggression in the Middle East and Afghanistan. And front and center of his public relations effort was ex-Muslim Ayan Hirsi Ali, who assured the American public.
See, what she's doing is kind of like me, like showing one Muslim that is like a horrible person, okay? And they keep using him as an example to be like, look, Muslims are like this, Muslims are like that, right? That's what he's doing with to represent what ex-Muslims are like by showing Ayan Hirsi Ali all the time.
That war crimes committed in their name were carried out with noble intentions.
What?
But personally,
Then Muslim Ayan
Islamic logic of the war on terror.
Hirsi Ali, who assured the American public that war crimes committed in their name were carried out with noble intentions.
Let's see what she
but
says.
personally, and then again from an intellectually pure way, it's not a war on terror. It's a war on Islam. And I think that is why people like bin Laden are winning.
She made those absurd comments.
Wait, what? I didn't get her point. What was she trying to say?
She said that's why bin Laden is winning, and it's
I
not
know,
a war on terror. It's a war on Islam.
But why would that make bin Laden winning? I don't understand the point. Do you understand?
I'm still confused on the whole.
Hold on, let me see.
Hirsi Ali. And front and center of his public relations effort was ex-Muslim Ayan Hirsi Ali, who assured the American public that war crimes committed in their name were carried out with noble intentions.
But personally, and then again from an intellectually pure way, it's not a war on terror. It's a war on Islam. And I think that is why people like bin Laden are winning.
Okay, what he said she's saying and what she said are two different things. Like, he summarized what she's saying, and then she played what she's saying, and she's not saying what he's saying, and what she's saying doesn't make any sense unless, like, we get the full context. Like, I don't understand what point Ayan is making here. Does anybody in the lecture understand what the point she's making? I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm confused on that one. I'll take a confused pill on that one.
I'm going to take a confused pill on that as well. Bin Laden is winning because it's a war on Islam, not a war on terror. It seems like she's suggesting, like, out of context, it kind of suggests like she's like, we shouldn't have a war on Islam. I'm so confused. Okay, guys, people in the lecture are confused as well. This seemed like he was fishing for something to clip out and he couldn't find it. I don't know.
And I think that is why people like bin Laden are winning.
Well, people like bin Laden are dead, so they're lost. I don't know. They're not winning.
She made those absurd comments in 2006, a full 3 years after the United States and its allies had already killed hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. But there she was, convincing the West that Islam promotes barbarism and savagery while US forces were busy bombing schools, hospitals, and wedding parties in too many countries to count.
I mean, Islam could be promoting savagery while the United States be carrying out savagery. Like, I don't know if those two things are mutually exclusive. Like, you could at the same time think like what the United States is doing is savage, and also Islam is violent. Like, You don't have to hold. You could hold both of these beliefs at the same time. I don't understand.
How do you feel about those figures that he showed? I actually want to. I'd like to get your opinion on that.
The death toll of wars since 9/11 estimated. Yeah, I mean, the Iraq one was a disaster. Obviously, like anybody who supports United States war on Iraq is insane. So that's insane, right? The Afghanistan one was also a disaster. So I'm against that. The Yemen one, I don't know when this video came out because Yemen death count is a lot more than this. So I don't know how you only got 90,000. Is he counting the people from war only? Because Yemen has a lot more death count because of the disease and hunger and everything because of that came from the war, right? Pakistan, I don't know. Pakistan, United States involvement in Pakistan, I support, because without United States support of Pakistan would have become a failed state, and we would have a failed state with a nuclear weapon on its hands. So the last one I support. The Iraq one is one of the greatest human rights violations that the United States is responsible for. The Syria one, I blame mostly Assad for Syria, not United States. Okay. But yeah, Iraq and Afghanistan, a lot of it could be blamed. Iraq is mostly could be blamed on the United States. Syria mostly blamed on Assad. Afghanistan mostly blamed on the way the United States carried it out. Yemen would mostly blame on Mohammed bin Salman, but secondly, blame it on the United States. Pakistan, I don't even blame it. Pakistan is involvement of the United States is a good thing over there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's obviously all of these are not religious wars. These are political wars that have resulted out of
that's a good point, actually.
And that's what we've always forgotten. And it's like, oh, it's an Islam thing. All of these, this was nothing to do with. They weren't arguing about Sahih Bukhari. This wasn't the argument that this happened over.
Yes.
And whether a hadith was weak or Sahih. This is all over geopolitical wars and territory, essentially, and political power in all its different formats. So, and again, there's been a tragic loss of innocent life in all these figures. These, there are people, families, children that are involved in these things who are completely innocent. So, I think that's something that we also need to remember when we're talking about these topics.
Yeah. D is saying in the lecture, no one ever mentions Qatar. Weren't they involved too? No. In which one of these? Not really. Qatar has actually been a place for where negotiations happen and people come together. So I don't know. But
anyways, was convincing the West that Islam promotes barbarism and savagery while US forces were busy bombing schools, hospitals, and wedding parties.
I mean, I don't know if I actually mentioned that these wars are good because the other side was Muslim, because the clip that he showed she wasn't saying that. If she says that, that's horrible.
That is in too many countries to count. This fantasy of an enlightened West spreading civilization to the Muslim world is not supported by history.
Yeah, and we're against. Yeah, we're against it. We are like, we want enlightenment to be a bottom-up approach, like by inviting people to a different way of thinking rather than being forced from top down. So yeah, I agree. Wait, what did you say exactly?
Yeah? Could you respond to this comment also by Bastello?
Where? In the live chat?
Yeah.
Which one? By who?
I'll write it in the private chat.
Is there any comment in the live chat? I could just highlight it.
Yeah, it's in the live chat.
Who's saying it? Oh, Bastello. Oh, here,
yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. Bastello is saying rubbish. It's a war on Shia. The Wahhabi colleague is more prominent than ever. It's a war on Shia. I don't know what he's referring to. How is this? Okay. It's a war. It's a war on Shias, but it's also a war on Sunnis. If Shias are attacking Sunnis, as very aggressively as well. Like the Shias are getting the Shias are also like abusing Sunnis. It's not just Sunnis abusing Shias.
But they've all, like for example, in Syria, they've all participated in providing funding and ammunition for different militia that's operating in there. That would be a correct
Yeah,
statement.
I mean, Syria is a good example where Shias were oppressing the Sunnis. That's a good example, actually. So it's not just Sunnis, Wahhabis oppressing Shias. It's the other way as well, works both ways. Anyways, let's continue.
Light and West, spreading civilization to the Muslim world is not supported by history. It was the Christian world, not Islam, that gave us 2 world wars, the Holocaust, the atomic bomb, and the communist pogroms.
Yeah, actually, this is true that the Christian world has a higher death count than the Muslim world, okay? But again, if you want to be fair to Muslims, you have to be fair to Christians as well. A lot of these death counts has nothing to do with Christianity itself. You know what I mean? So you're like, oh, it's Christians. So like this man is a hypocrite, right? Because a lot of crimes that Muslims commit is not because of them being Muslims, okay? So it's just because they're committing crimes, right? So you can't like put it on Islam, right? So World War II, for example, is not like wasn't a war because of Christianity. Like this was not a Christian war. Just Christians just happened to be the ones who were doing it, but it wasn't like the Inquisition, okay? So you're like, oh, it was the Christians. Like, okay, you're being as unfair as you claim others being to Muslims, okay? And the reason why Christians have a higher death count is that when the wars were happening, when world wars were happening, the Christian countries happened to be more powerful. Like, so for example, when the Islamic wars were happening, like when Muslims were invading other countries, they didn't have nuclear weapons, right? But in modern time, wars have higher like because of more access to more advanced weaponry, they are able to kill a lot more, right? So when Christians were involved in world wars, they were using nukes and planes and Kalashnikovs and like way more advanced weaponry than when Muslims. So they obviously ended up having a higher death count. It wasn't because Christianity is worse than Islam. Like I'm pretty sure like if modern wars were happening when Muslims were in power, like when Muslims were more advanced countries, then Muslims would have higher death count. This is not about whether Islam or Christianity is more violent. This is about which countries were in power when modern wars were happening. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
But Ayan knows what she's doing. She's what Arab and African populations under European colonial rule once called a native informant.
You've called us slaves.
How can you claim to stand for our liberation
when you simply repeat the language of our oppressors? This is not the language of solidarity or understanding or freedom.
This is the language of patriarchy and misogyny.
This is the language of white supremacy.
Central to Ayan's
I understand. What was that about? Like we are like, I support you. We're telling people that hijab is modesty culture. Okay, so we're against hijab for that. Is that the language of white supremacy? White supremacy is the language of and being anti-modesty. Hijab is modesty culture. As a liberal, I'm against modesty culture, right? So that's why I'm against the hijab. How is that white supremacy? Like they were accusing us of being white supremacists because we're against modesty culture. I don't think white supremacists have an issue with. I think white supremacists have an issue with you because you're a foreigner. They're xenophobes. Okay, I have a problem with the hijab because I'm a liberal. I'm exactly as a liberal. I don't like anything that promotes modesty culture, and as a liberal, white supremacists hate me. So, yeah, I'm not using their language. That's insane. There you go. This is language of patriarchy. Actually, the hijab. No, the hijab is the language of patriarchy. You dumbo. Patriarchy, Islam, like you're accusing me of having the language of patriarchy. Religion is the language of patriarchy, you idiot. The people who put that on your head, they are the patriarchs. They have this. That's patriarchy. I am partly anti-religion because I'm anti-patriarchy. Anyways.
attack on Islam is the practice of female.
No offense for any Muslim. Are you upset when I talk like this against Islam?
No, you have a right to your opinion. I mean, if are you saying, and I want to clarify, if a woman has a choice whether she wants to wear it or she doesn't want to wear it, you have no problem with that, basically. You know, you wouldn't have a problem with a woman saying, you know what, I feel better. I have an option of wearing a hijab, and I actually like it, and I feel better wearing it. I mean, I think with your liberist views, you wouldn't say no, you must not be able to wear it. You'd say everyone has an option, right?
Okay, so you have to separate me agreeing that somebody has a right to do it with me being okay with it. Those are two different things, right? So, for example, when I ask you, did I upset you with what I said, friendly Muslim? You said, no, you have a right to say it. Yeah, but I could say something that I have a right to say and upset you with it. You know, I mean, those are not mutually exclusive, right? So, like, for example, with the hijab, I support someone's right to wear the hijab, but I'm also against the hijab. Even hijab that is not mandatory, I'm against it, yet I will support the right to wear it. Do you understand?
Okay, so if someone was wearing a scarf, like a scarf, and decided to, like these fashion scarves that women wear.
No, but first, before you ask that question, do you understand, like, just because I am against something, that doesn't mean I would not support the right for somebody to do that thing, right?
Yeah, like you don't like religion, but you'll support my right to practice my religion also.
Exactly. Yeah. In fact, I hate religion, but if anybody wants to challenge your right to practice your religion, I will stand against them, even though I don't like religion. I will fight the people who want to take that right away from me, right? So I don't like the hijab, even non-compulsory hijab, even voluntary hijab. I don't like it, right? But if anybody wants to force anybody to not wear the hijab, I will fight for their right to wear the hijab, even though I don't like the hijab. Okay. But go on. What's your question now? You were going to answer.
Yeah, no, that's fine. What don't you like about a hijab? Just generally what you feel it stands for, or?
Yeah, I think because it's a modesty culture.
Right. Okay.
Modesty culture, and so it supports modesty culture, and I'm against anything, not just hijab, anything that supports modesty culture, I'm against it. The idea that selling modesty as a virtue is just overall bad, and hijab does that. Hijab is like.
Okay, I'm with you. Right.
Female genital mutilation, despite the practice having zero to do with Islam and everything to do with African culture, but notably only among very specific African tribes.
Wait, that's not true. Female genital mutilation is heavily promoted in Islam. What are you talking about? Wait, what?
Practice of female genital.
White supremacy.
Central to Ayan's attack on Islam is the practice of female genital mutilation. Despite the practice having zero to do with Islam.
Zero to do with Islam? Are you sure about that? This man doesn't know what you're talking about. Okay, it's true that female genital mutilation happens outside of Islam. And it's also true that within Islam, there's certain sects that doesn't mandate genital mutilation. Okay, but they encourage it. And it's mentioned in Islam, in all 4 Islamic schools of thought, it is mentioned. And in most of them, it's recommended. So it is like, does he not know that this is part of hadith? This is Islamic scripture. Like, maybe if you want to be believable, at least say little to do, or maybe not completely mandated in Islam, say that. But when you say it has zero to do with Islam, then you obviously don't know what you're talking about. This is part of hadith. This is part of all 4 Islamic schools, Sunni Islamic school of thought. And we also had news last week that we covered that within Shia sects, there are sects that are mandating it, not only recommending it, mandating it. This obviously has to do something with Islam. Yeah, it is in hadith. People are saying in the live chat, it's in the hadith. Nothing to do with Islam. You don't know. This guy has been at this for many years, and he doesn't even know the basics of Islam. What do you think, friendly Muslim?
Yeah, no, it's not in the Quran, but it's in the Hadith, and there are Hadith that refer to Mother Aisha. May Allah be pleased with her, mentioning when the circumcised part touches the circumcised part, then it should be cleansed, and etc., etc., etc. So it is in the Hadith also, but and again there are different positions on it. So
So given that it is in the hadith, do you think it's fair to say when he says it has zero to do with Islam, nothing to do with Islam, that's unfair?
I didn't agree with that statement where he said it's got zero.
Yeah.
It is in the hadith, and it is covered,
Yeah.
so you can't deny it.
I think what he should have done, if he wanted to, he could be like, oh, it's in the hadith, but it's not the Quran, and this hadith is challenged by so many reformist Muslims. Like, he could have said that if he wanted to defend Islam. You know, like saying something that is people could accept as believable. We're like, okay, well, it's not in the Quran, and this hadith, recently a lot of reformers are challenging what's in the hadith. See, I could, if I was on the side of Islam, I could have defended it like in a more believable way than this guy is doing.
And everything to do with African culture, but notably only among.
Hey, why are you being anti-Africa? This guy's a bigot. See, like I could play the same game, right? Oh, it's African culture. Are you saying that their culture is inferior? See, I could like out woke you if I wanted to.
Very specific African tribes, including those who belong to the Christian faith.
Oh my God, this is a guy who wants to just turn everything about Christianity.
But if you...
So okay, why is it okay to be anti-Christian then, according to this guy? It's like can you be anti-Christian but not anti-Christianity but not anti-Islam? Like why? Or like does he think Islam is just superior to Christianity? Okay, so there's two tweets by the organization. Council of Ex-Muslims of Britain is saying FGM is sexual violence, which is true. If you remove the clothing of a girl and touch her genitalia even before the cut, you're guilty of an offense. This must stop now. If you remove the clothing of a girl and touch her genitalia even before the cut, you're guilty of an offense. I mean, this is what's wrong with this tweet. I mean, this is objectively true, isn't it? Okay, and the other tweet by ex-Muslim of North America saying Muhammad condoning FGM during Medina era, and they literally put a hadith. They put a hadith there, so they're showing you that this is part of Islam. So what's wrong with this tweet by ex-Muslim of North America? They're actually demonstrating that you're full of crap.
If you visit the social media pages of an ex-Muslim organization, you will see evidence of a sustained campaign meant to manufacture a moral panic over this almost non-existent practice.
First of all, it's extremely existent. What are you talking about? Okay, first, the second tweet is providing you with the source of the hadith that shows that this is part of Islam. The first tweet doesn't even mention Islam. It's just an anti-FGM tweet. So are you not anti-FGM? Like, it doesn't even mention Islam. And the second tweet is like proving that you're wrong. Also, how do you say this is non-existent? This is a major practice. Okay. Let me see. Let's just look one country. I could find this. Female genital mutilation dashboard. Like, how's it non-existent? Non-existent? This unbelievable. This is a major issue. Okay, look at this. I knew Egypt was going to be bad. Okay, so in Egypt, these red parts, which is the most populated parts, they have 90%. Okay, in Egypt, 90% of women and girls aged 15 to 49 have undergone some form of FGM. 92%. 92% in Egypt. And this guy says it's a non-existent issue. Like, honestly, like, I didn't even know it was this bad. I just knew Egypt was bad. I didn't know it was this bad. Can we look at more countries? Select a country or territory. Okay, let's look at select a territory. Right, I want to select all of Africa. It's not letting me. Oh, FGM dashboard. Oh, there we go. Oh, here. So Egypt is 91 or 92. Sudan is 88% in Sudan. Okay. Mali is 91%. Mauritania is 69%. Senegal is 26%. Guinea is 97%. Somalia is 98%. Ethiopia is 74%. Okay. I just want to know, like they say this is an African issue, but FGM, the parts of Africa where FGM happens the most is the Islamic ones. And this is not even an anti-Islam website. This is the United Nations population. This is the United Nations population fund. Okay, this is a United Nations website, and it's showing that FGM is like, yeah, mostly happens in. I want to see which countries are the most. Yeah, in Africa, the countries that have the most amount of FGM are the Muslim ones. No sound. I don't want sound. God, give me the data. What is this? This is not even about FGM anymore. Okay. It doesn't even bother. Look, it doesn't even bother to go to the Christian part of Africa. It mostly stays in the Islamic area. Like, the Christian part is not even, it's not even a factor. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, it's a mix of Islam and poverty. Okay, that makes superstitious and harmful practices more likely. So yeah, it's not just religion. It's religion plus the desperate situations. Anyways. Yeah, so that's my reaction.
Manufacture a moral panic over this almost non-existent practice.
Almost non-existent. What a major insult to all the Egyptian women, to the vast majority of Egyptian women who without their consent had their genitals cut. Tell them that this is non-existent. Tell them that this is a non-existent issue. What an insult to them. This man is a monster. That's disgusting. You know, actually, I think this guy is anti-Muslim, okay? Because this guy is like completely dismissing all these Muslim women's experiences. Millions of Muslim women have gone through FGM, and he considers this a non-existent issue. Who is anti-Muslim? Are we anti-Muslim or this guy? Because to me, he sounds like more anti-Muslim than us.
But the campaign is having a devastating effect against Muslims because it's...
Oh, really? A devastating effect against Muslims. You're the one who's dismissing their pain. Isn't that more devastating against Muslims?
Radicalizing economically marginalized white men into violent far-right extremists.
Okay, no, we call, like, these groups, we have consistently calling them out. These far-right groups, we have been so consistent at calling these mofos out.
Extremism, like it did for this former street thug with the English Defence League.
Because when you see videos of FGM and you see videos of honor killing and stuff like that, and these people have got brown skin and beards, you know, you're looking at it and thinking that's going to come to your country. You're seeing poppies get burnt on our streets. You're seeing extremism all over the media. So for me, we thought we was helping.
But here's what ex-Muslims...
Yeah, well, those extremists exist. What do you want to do? Not mention that they exist? The way you handle it is that you mention that they exist, and you try to investigate the source of the problem, which is not always religion. It's sometimes religion, sometimes not religion, sometimes it's a mix of religion and other situations, especially desperate economic, political situations, or like war, right, situations. But you make sure that the source, that when you do that, you also highlight good things by Muslims. You also highlight the mistreatment of Muslims, and you call it out and you condemn it, okay? Because if you don't participate in showing harms that come from like Islam, okay, and also protect Muslims, you know, be the outlet that does both of those things at the same time, then you're leaving the anti-Islam narrative to people who are also anti-Muslim, okay? If we step out of this game, the only anti-Islam content you would get would be anti-Islam plus anti-Muslim content. So let us be in the space. So there are alternative, like for people who want to get their anti-Islam kick, they also get their pro-Muslim content with it on the side. So that they don't become hateful against Muslims. And ex-Muslims have been other than Ayan Hirsi Ali, all these other ex-Muslims outlets that you showed, they have been doing exactly that. They have been very responsible. The Council of Ex-Muslims of North America has been very responsible. The ex-Muslims of North America and the Council of Ex-Muslims of Britain, and, you know, Harris Sultan and apostate prophet, and especially the first person that you show, which is unbelievable. I still haven't gotten over that. Over the friendly ex-Muslim, he shows him Abdullah Samir. He shows the picture of Abdullah Samir. He should be given that word of being the most careful and not being hateful. Anyways, I don't know why we're getting so much spam today in the live chat. Thank you, Soha, for getting rid of all the spam.
Don't want you to know about Islam. That Islam, like any other religion, is like a hammer. It can be used to build a home or demolish your home. It all depends on who's holding the hammer. Islam saved the...
Well, I don't think Christianity can build the... I think all of them... I think most religions are... we being consistent here. Like, I think religions are a net a force for destruction rather than building things, right? So we don't act like Islam is unique about that. So you're like, oh, Islam is like Christianity. You're like, okay, to me that's not a compliment. to me, like, yeah, I agree. Islam is very much like Christianity. They're both horrible.
The guy you just saw from a life of violence and addiction.
Yeah, I had a really bad addiction with cocaine and alcohol, and in Islam, it's forbidden to drink alcohol, and it's forbidden to take any drugs, which when you become Muslim, you submit to the Creator, meaning you try to follow the teachings of the Creator. So coming off alcohol and drugs has helped me massively, and going forward, it's made me into a better person.
There's nothing in Islam that prohibits drugs. Alcohol, yes, but not drugs.
I think better.
I think what you need...
You can't intoxicate your body where you have no reason. So
it doesn't say that explicit. It doesn't say that that's his reason. It just says like don't drink like wine, right? And then people have interpreted that to mean you can't intoxicate, right? So that's an interpretation from the actual text. It doesn't explicitly say that, which is fair point. I think like what Islam and Christianity provide that makes people sometimes be able to kick away addiction is not like the commandments, right? Because, for example, Christians have also been able to kick off alcoholism by joining Christian groups, right? Christianity doesn't ban alcohol, right? So I don't think there's this thing within Islam that says you can't drink alcohol that helps them, I think it's the community aspect of it, right? I think like finding a community, a support group is the reason why people might find success with kicking off addiction. I just think like religion, like the support groups that religion provides comes with a baggage of superstition and dogma and some harmful beliefs. I just think like I want us to move in a direction where we could provide support and community more to people without the religious baggage. So I'm not saying religion has no utility. Obviously, it's providing a utility, a community, and a support group. I just think like we could do better. We could provide better communities like one day than what religions provide as community. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get you. And also, I wanted to touch on his story. So he became a Muslim. It's changed his life, he feels. And it's given him a moral structure, which he didn't perceive to have before. So is that a bad thing or is that a good thing?
No, I mean, that's a good thing. And religion could have positive effects in isolation, right? But when I evaluate the goodness or badness of something, I don't look at it in isolation. I look at it, the net effect of it, right? I mean, somebody could like join a far right group, and all of a sudden the far right group provides, I don't know, stability, some guidance, some sense of community, some structure to his life, right? And maybe on that one individual, you could be like, well, look at this guy's life. It got better because he joined this far right group, right? Like, so don't you think this is a good thing? I'm like, well, no, I don't think it's a good thing. I think that he believes in a really dangerous ideology. Maybe on that one individual life, that one person is like, on average, I think like superstition and false beliefs make the world a worse place. But like, I'm pretty sure in isolation, you could find many examples where their lives have become better because of it, right? But yeah, when I want to pass judgment on something, I don't look at it in isolation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Is there a thing about white people who are ginger becoming more Muslims? Like, is that like a thing?
We were joking about this the other day. I was like, because they all seem to have, like the predominant ones, like at least 5 of them have ginger style beards. But I was arguing with Khalil, and he's actually blonde. And I was like, "You're a ginger. Like, live with it, own it. I want you to accept that you're a ginger." And we had an argument, and then he gave me a scientific report which explained like how these hairs are. So technically, I would be wrong. So then I had to apologize and be like, "All right, bro, I'm sorry.
Fine.
I
Okay,
didn't mean
but
to generalize you with it."
is there something about white people with red hair and Islam? How about that?
I have no idea. There is a trend, though.
There's a trend. I don't know.
There
why.
is a trend, but I can't scientifically. But yeah, they seem to be more.
Okay, there seems to be a trend. We might be wrong about this, but we're just noticing that from the white converts to Islam seem to be the majority.
They all
of
seem
them
to have a bit of ginger in their beard. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know why.
That's for sure. I don't know why.
Maybe we're just
But there's a trend.
There's a trend. I don't know. Maybe we're just imagining things. Maybe I don't know. Okay.
And I do things better.
But stories like this are interruptive to their hateful and spiteful narrative.
Oh, you got
to
us.
counter this, they litter their social media timelines with cherry-picked.
Okay, let's look at this tweet. Islam can't stand alone without the threat of violence. Stand alone without, and then they have something from Sahih Bukhari, which is hadith by Prophet Muhammad. It says, if somebody, a Muslim, discards his religion, kill him. I mean, this is true. This is in Islam. I don't understand the punish. Like, is he going to say that they took it out of context? Because within context, this has been the major ruling for leaving Islam for the past 1,200 years. I mean, if ex-Muslims have misinterpreted this hadith, then so have Muslims for 1,200 years. Like, I don't know. Like, are you going to tell Muslims? Like, okay, hold on. So let me see what his claim is.
Spiteful narrative. So to counter this, they litter their social media timelines with cherry-picked articles and sound bites to vilify Islam as a religion that's inherently opposed to peace, pluralism, and democracy.
I mean, it's not just a religion that is against peace, democracy, and pluralism. It's like all religions are like that as a whole. So this is like, we're not okay. And also this hadith that you're saying that they're cherry picking, like, this is not like they're not misrepresenting anything. This is a ruling within Islam. Like, this is the understanding of this hadith by every single Islamic scholar in the history of Islam. Like, there has been no other interpretation of this. You leave Islam, the ruling is that you die.
No,
like,
not for personal belief. Personal disbelief was different to actual sedition and war. That was a completely different thing. There's plenty of examples where the Prophet said someone came to him, he converted to Islam. He asked him 3 times, like, I would like to leave. He said, okay, fine, and he allowed him to leave Islam. There were people after the Ridda Wars that changed their religion, and they stopped believing.
Give me that story, because his ruling eventually was like, okay, so we have stories that like people left Islam and like, he didn't do something about it, but then he eventually came up with the ruling that this is the ruling, this is the official ruling. This ruling, okay, so those are, again, people say like we take things out of context, okay, but they give us examples of standalone stories. And then we have standalone stories, but then we have an official ruling, a general ruling for what you're supposed to do. I mean, Muhammad himself is like, can sometimes not follow the rulings because he knows best, right? He knows better. But for Muslims, what they're supposed to do, this was an official command mentioned in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim multiple times. And again, your understanding of it might be different, which I appreciate. Like, you might be like, no, you're misreading this. But the way I'm reading it is the way that the ulama understood it, and the Islamic scholars understood it for hundreds and hundreds of years, and there was no disagreement on this. Like, the challenges you're bringing on this are modern challenges. But go on, what do you say?
No, they're not. They're not. I mean, I've got a whole thing on it, a whole presentation on it, which I've been willing to put on a video. But yeah, no, I mean, we can either. All right, we'll come back to it. I don't want to get off topic because it's a bigger topic. But yeah, all right, fine.
Wait,
We'll move on to.
do you not? Okay, do you not agree that Islamic rulers saw this? Okay, use this hadith as a way to. I mean, this was the official ruling by Islamic governments for many years based on these hadiths. That whoever leaves Islam, the punishment is death. It's murtad. We're murtads.
What, just for personal belief? That was one thing. For
What do you mean by personal belief? Like,
well, okay,
if
fine.
you
if
like
you were
personal,
right.
If your personal belief changes, you're no longer a Muslim. If you if you don't believe in Allah or Muhammad, like I don't understand how you're separating this. Like if somebody is a Muslim and is no longer a Muslim, their personal beliefs about Islam has changed. How are you separating that? Like what is
and in the Quran, if you are no longer a believer, then the punishment is between you and your Lord on the Day of Judgment. Correct?
No, I mean that, and no, there's two judgments. One between you and the Lord in the Day of Judgment, which does not deny the fact that there's also a hadith that there's also punishment for you in this world. Those are not mutually exclusive.
For what was okay, so this is where we get into the argument about what was apostasy, and personal belief was not the issue. It was where you were actually fighting or considered a threat to life.
No.
Okay, all right. We're going. All right. Can we? Well, let's finish this guy, and then we'll come back.
This is not about being a Muslim. Is about your personal beliefs. You do the shahadat to become a Muslim. To be a Muslim is to have certain personal beliefs. It's within the very definition of what it means to be a Muslim. If you believe in Allah and Muhammad as prophet and the Quran as the word of God, and you consider yourself a Muslim, by definition, you're a Muslim. So you can't be like, oh, this is not about personal belief. It's about who's a Muslim and then they're not a Muslim. It's all about personal belief. To be a non-Muslim, you have to change your personal belief. You don't have to do an act of betrayal to be a non-Muslim. You have to change your personal belief.
So okay, with this hadith, we're gonna have to go into this because I'm gonna load it up. We're gonna go through it after we finish with CJ because I think it's worthy of actually going.
Let's have a debate. Let's have a debate about this later. Okay, maybe next time if we do it. Okay, but what I'm saying is the understanding of the vast majority of every single person within all Islamic schools of thought, within all the ulama.
In terms of risk to life, not personal belief.
It's within like.
We're gonna have to talk about this.
Yeah.
One.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Islam is a religion that's inherently opposed to peace, pluralism, and democracy. But while Islam was saving this guy from self-harm, the ex-Muslim movement was radicalizing Anders Breivik into mass slaughtering 78.
Wait, we radicalized this guy?
College students.
Wasn't this guy like a Christian guy? Like, why is he blame everything on Christianity? But when it comes to this radical, he blames it on. How did we radicalize this guy? This guy was
radicalizing Anders Breivik into.
He better have evidence that we radicalized him.
To mass slaughtering 78 college students. In his manifesto, Breivik lavished praise on Ayaan Hirsi Ali, saying she deserved a Nobel Prize for.
Okay, Ayaan Hirsi Ali, we're not Ayaan Hirsi Ali. Like again, this is kind of like, hey, friendly Muslim, how do you like it if I like accuse you for what Osama bin Laden has done? Would you like that? I mean, I just compared Ayaan Hirsi Ali to Osama bin Laden. That's not fair. But like, you get the point. Like, do you think that's fair? Do you think that's fair that he like keeps like mentioning Ayaan Hirsi Ali as if she's like the queen of all ex-Muslims?
Yeah, but then when we see also Ali Dawah being the representative for all Muslims, then that's also something that we feel also. Like when everyone keeps on taking Ali Dawah. I mean, Harris has done it. I mean, he did it last week with me, and he was like, "Yeah, we do it." But when we hear Ali Dawah speaking on something, then it gets generalized. Both sides can be guilty of this. I know I know both sides attempt to not to do so also. But that's why I wanted to bring this up because
have I ever done anything to act like Ali Dawah represents most Muslims?
No, everyone puts out the thing, but even the fact that he represents the whole Dawah scene essentially would be an incorrect. Fine, he's one of the most popular in terms of viewerships, but in terms of rankings of a da'i, then that would be subjective also. I don't. No one would say.
Yeah,
he's
but
the
I
number
never
one.
like whenever I criticize Ali Dawa, I never claim that he represents even the Dawa community. I never claimed that. I'm just using his videos as a way to bring attention, like because he's famous, so covering him brings attention to things that I want to highlight about Islam. But I never suggested.
Do you think he's using the same tactic here with Iron Hersey?
No, because he's specifically he's specifically saying ex-Muslims do this. Ex-Muslims have radical. For example, okay, like look at the difference. Actually, this is a good point. Okay, he says ex-Muslims have radicalized this man, and then his evidence is like Ayn Hersey. Okay, I never say like, hey, Muslims do this. Look at Ali Dawa, right? That would be generalizing. Like, hey, Muslims are responsible for this. Look, here's my proof. Look what Ali Dawa is doing. Like, I don't ever associate what Ali Dawa is doing to all of Muslims. I just like, look what I just criticize Ali Dawa. I don't like generalize it to what you're doing, like, for example, right? That's the difference. He specifically look at what he's doing. He specifically said here,
for Islam was saving its inherent guy from self-harm, the ex-Muslim movement was radicalizing Anders brave.
The ex-Muslim movement. Like Ayn Hersey Ali is like not the ex-Muslim movement. Ayn Hersey Ali is just one person. She's not the ex-Muslim movement. Okay. In fact, she has been kind of like unofficially kicked out of the ex-Muslim movement because of her far right-leaning views. Right?
Is there anyone that's responsible for the ex-Muslim movement, or do you think everyone's got their own pockets that they're contributing?
Yeah, everyone has their own pocket. You have to judge them individually. You can't just like come up with a general judgment on the entire ex-Muslim movement together, right? You have to talk about like what Harris Sultan is doing, what the Apostle Prophet is doing, and like just judge them individually instead of like generalize them all together. Like exactly what you shouldn't be doing to like this guy. What doesn't want us to do to Muslims, which is fair. You shouldn't do that to ex-Muslims either. You shouldn't talk about them in general terms. Like I didn't radicalize this guy. What am I like? What the hell? Like I'm part of the ex-Muslim movement. I didn't radicalize this guy. That's not fair. Do you think that's not fair?
Yeah, not everybody is the same in the ex-Muslim movement, and everyone needs to be taken on their own category or catalogue of work and things that they've said.
Yes, and I think we have, at least I have done a good job in making sure that when I criticize a Muslim, I don't. In fact, when I was criticizing Ali Dawa, sometimes he says things as if it's like commonly accepted within Muslims, and I criticize him for that. I'm like, no, Ali Dawa, you're not speaking on behalf of all Muslims. A lot of Muslims disagree with you on that. So, in fact, yeah, I think even Ali Dawa has made it acted like what he is representing Muslim, the vast majority of Muslims, and I was the one who's like, no, you're not all Muslims. So I've done the very opposite of what you suggested. Okay, let's continue.
Into mass slaughtering 78 college students. In his manifesto, Breivik lavished praise on Ayn Hersey Ali, saying she deserved a Nobel Prize for her willingness to confront Muslim immigrants. I mean, it should be pretty obvious that when actual white supremacists are expressing devotion towards a specific brown person, then something is not quite right with said brown person. You know, like this guy.
Hey, where has this guy been, by the way?
But look, let me say this. I understand there are challenges in leaving Islam for some Muslims in certain situations. But this is not a challenge exclusive to Islam. There are even Netflix shows about the problems Orthodox Jews face in leaving their religious faith.
Yeah, and we criticize that as well. Like, we didn't say Islam is, we didn't say Islam is the only bad religion. We never claimed that. We are like anti-religion as a whole. In fact, I think most ex-Muslims that I know are against all religions. Like Harry Sultan is against all religions. Abdullah Samir is against all religions. Apostle Prophet is mostly anti-Islam, but most other ex-Muslims are like just anti-religion.
The problem is ex-Muslims want the West to believe Islam is responsible for their personal experiences, be it a bad childhood or failed marriage. But these experiences are personal to them, not nearly 1 billion Muslim women.
This hatred you feed puts us in danger every day.
It encourages fear, persecution.
But what about all the Muslim, ex-Muslim women or Muslim women who are saying that you forcing the hijab on them or you telling women what to wear and how to behave. You're not going to put their voices. Like, this is just very one-sided, right? Don't you think that?
And violence.
This is not brave.
This is not progressive.
This is propaganda.
I mean, hijab is not progressive. Like, I don't understand how you could act like you're part of, you're standing for, you're saying anti-hijab is not progressive and you're progressive. Like, progressive is anti-modesty culture. You're wearing something that men, like, even if you have chosen the hijab, this is a symbol of something that was forced upon women by men. And you're saying this is propaganda. Well, that's reality. This is a symbol, like, hijab was maybe for you it's not anymore, but it was traditionally a symbol of ownership of men over women. So if you want to change that, you can change that, but we're going to call it out as it is. And I'm sorry, between you and me, I think I'm being the more progressive one.
Bravery is not selling lies.
I mean, I don't think I'm being brave. I'm being honest. Like, I'm saying it from a very safe position. I didn't claim to be brave, or we're just saying what's true. I think I'm just being, I'm not being, at least I'm not claiming to be brave. I'm claiming to be honest, okay? But bravery, there are a lot of women who are anti-hijab are very brave, okay? The women in Iran who are taking off their hijab as a way to stand up against religious tyranny and facing 7 and sometimes up to 20 years in prison because of it. I don't know, you're not calling them brave? Like, do you dare call those women not brave? Because they're braver than you. They're giving up a lot more than you. So I don't know, like, yeah, I agree. I'm not brave, but those women are. So I don't know, who are you talking to? I don't know who's being addressed here.
Bravery is living through the relentless hostility, discrimination, and pressure of a world that fears us.
A world that you helped to create.
I don't know what you're talking about. I support, I stand, like, I'm against the hijab, but I also stand against anybody who wants to treat you, oppress you, discriminate against you, or treat you badly, or take your right to wear the hijab away. Anybody who wants to tell you what to wear, whether it is to put on the hijab or take off the hijab, I stand against them. So yeah, I don't know who's this being interested.
Of a world that fears us.
A world that you helped to create.
Sure.
So it's time to call out the ex-Muslim movement for what it is. An enabler of anti-Muslim hatred, white supremacy, Zionism, and the war on terror. And it must be shunned. Anyway, that's a wrap for today. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel.
Yeah, guys, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell notification.
We kindly ask you, please support
and and subscribe
this endeavor by becoming a member of this show at patreon.com/CJWellman.
Yeah, guys, please become a patron on our channel, okay? Because this guy's selling you nonsense. Like, I'm being honest here with you guys, okay? And also, if I'm wrong, I hope I could like I might be wrong about my views, but at least I will hear the opposition. I will be correct. I try to be corrected if I got things wrong, right? Like, friend Muslim, do you think I am spreading hatred, or encouraging? Like, I would like to know, like, if I'm encouraging any viewpoints that is going to make anyone's lives worse off, I would like to stop. So, like, I'm constantly reevaluating what I'm doing. So do you think I'm doing anything that might be harmful to Muslim women, for example?
I think we all have to be sensitive to what we say in general terms. I know that you and Harris also, and again, the reason I brought this up also is because I wouldn't want all ex-Muslims to be labeled, and someone to then attack an ex-Muslim and go, you're causing this and you're directly responsible, because I don't think that would be a fair assertion either. So I have to be consistent in the way I protect a Muslim who's being attacked in the street, because some Muslims are getting attacked in the street. And we
call those out.
Yeah, and also ex-Muslims also, again, when a story like this does come out, I want to be sensitive and I want to make sure that it is like you're responding to it and you're putting your thoughts across about how you feel about the story, because I wouldn't want an ex-Muslim also just being attacked because of misreading this story also, and that's why I brought it to you essentially. So I think we have a duty of care to each other.
Yes, I agree, and I think, like, it's important for us I think I think Muslims should understand that it's good for Muslims that we're attacking Islam. Okay, and I think that sounds weird for a lot of Muslims, but I am saying it serves Muslims, even Muslims who remain Muslims, that we're attacking Islam. Okay, because we also try to discourage hatred of Muslims, right? And given that an audience that is interested in being anti-Islam is now, if they come to us, they will also be exposed to messages that discourages them from hating Muslims. Then it's good that the anti-Islam narrative is coming more from people like us, so that they see us rather than some people who are using the anti-Islam narrative as an excuse to be anti-Muslim. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, for example, with Nuria, you know, her mother, her father, her family are Muslim. You know, so she has to be careful. Harris, his family is still Muslim also. You know, so we've talked about this. So it is a general case that what people don't understand is you may have one ex-Muslim in a family, and they have their views on Islam, but there are also out to protect their own individual family members.
No, it's not because of family members, okay?
No, but you do have you still care. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, generally, I
mean, I would care for Muslims. I mean, I care for people who I don't have share anything with, because they're people. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have to be. I don't have to have family members. I mean, I do have family members who I love who are Muslim, okay? But I mean, I don't think that's why I don't think that's necessary for us to care for our fellow human beings. You know what I mean? They're just like they should just be our fellow human beings. I think that should be enough.
Yeah, no, but I want also people to understand that also, because sometimes ex-Muslim labels, and I'm probably one of the only Muslims out there that can kind of have these conversations at the moment, and still be in both camps, essentially, where I've spoken about ex-Muslims and said, listen, not everybody's the same. We need to understand that, you know, they are also bringing attention to things that others aren't. You know, it's like you're covering the stuff in India and Pakistan. You know, so is Harris. Some of our channels, the Muslim channels, are not covering it as much. Not even percentage-wise, not even a 10%. In contrast, you know,
right? You're saying we're covering more issues that is affecting Muslims in a negative way than many Islamic channels.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I've spoken about that. And so when someone has told me, I mean, I got someone was writing in the comments on one of the panels that I was on EA Dawa, and he was like, "Yeah, this friendly Muslim is an effing idiot, and he sits with Islamophobes while they're you know, attacking Islam, you know, blah blah blah." So he was calling for me to be sort of kicked off, kind of thing. And so I had to address it and say, listen, I want to be very clear about here. The people that I actually interact with, if you look at the stories that they are covering, they are going out of their way also, even when they may be getting personal threats from Muslims, you know, to still cover stories about persecution of Muslims, you know, and you need to also understand that they have families that are still Muslims. So they are covering stuff that you are not aware of. And that is why I have reached out, and that I do engage with these people also, so that both sides of a conversation can take place. You know, we disagree, but we're still having conversations.
Yes. And again, I think if we don't show, like, I want to show how much I like hate Christianity and Islam and Judaism and Hinduism, okay, and befriend Muslims. My main goal is to show, like, hey, my disagreement with Muslims does not stop me from befriending them, okay? Because I don't want to hold back in my disagreement with Islam to be friends with a Muslim, because I want to demonstrate that we don't need to make agreements a condition for friendship, right? So I want to be as aggressively as anti-Islam as I possibly can, and then also be friends with Muslims to show, like, hey, look, these are just the disagreements that we have over each other's ideas. And we could like hate each other's ideas and still like each other. It's possible. Like, I think we have been sold this idea that being against someone's idea means that you have to hate them. I'm like, why does it have to be the case? Why is friendship, why is agreement a condition for friendship? Disagreement is not that big of a deal. Like, oh, you have crappy ideas. You think, I think you have crappy ideas. You think I have crappy ideas. Sure, let's go have non-alcoholic beer with each other or kebab or something. Like, and talk about it. Like, it's fun. It's actually more fun. It's actually more fun to have friends that you have strong disagreements with. Because what are you going to do with friends you agree with? You're just going to like nod and just like, hey, yeah, I agree, you agree. You can have a challenge each other's ideas when you disagree with them. They are better friends. Friends that you just have strong disagreements with are better friends. This is why I actually appreciate Muslim friends maybe more than atheist friends, because there's something that we could challenge each other on. I don't know. I just don't see why this is not obvious. I think like people there's just so much interest in fighting that people want to sell the idea that if somebody hates your idea, they also hate you. Okay, because there's just the drama sells. I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah, no, I mean, I saw you, for example, going to Speaker's Corner, and you were with the EF guys, the EF Dow guys, and you were like hugging Abbas while you were having a conversation. Like, you were still debating, but I emailed you that picture that I found of you guys having dinner. You know, which have you got that? I honestly I would love to talk about that picture also, but like what actually happened there when that picture was taken and what was the whole day about? That has fascinated me actually.
Yeah, let's talk about it another time because I really need to go use the washroom and eat and something. Yeah.
All right, fine.
Yeah. But yeah, let's have that picture ready. We'll share it on the stream next time and talk about it because that's very interesting.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Good. So, all right. Good. All right. So I think we've covered a lot of topics today. So,
can I tell you how much I appreciate you? I really appreciate you. You know what I mean? You are such a give so much help. You know what I mean? Like I think like I need to believe that we can be friendly with each other, which is so good that you have that using friendly Muslim. Like I need to have more hope because most of what we do here, most of what I do is not with the goal of changing people's opinions about Islam. Most of what I do is, I have that goal as well, or about religion. Most of my goal is my main activism is directed at showing people that we could get along even if we hate each other's ideas, right? And I haven't seen much hope, but you give me hope. So I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I mean, and I appreciate you sort of engaging in conversation also. It's
somebody saying just kiss
already.
Yeah, just kiss already. Yeah, well, friendly Muslim is Muslim, so he can't be like that. Would be too homo for him.
No, I don't know. Actually,
I'm kidding.
Muslim men kiss on the cheek, right?
I'm kidding.
We're
which is gay. Yes, which is gay? Very gay.
That's gay. I thought it was more masculine that we're able to like kiss our uncles and our relatives on the cheek.
Sure.
We're secure in our heterosexuality.
Whatever you tell yourself. Wait. Some people had some comments. Let me see. Oxymoron is saying, to be fair, there could be a good case that can be made that critique of Islam affects Muslims if we do some utilitarian calculations, but these people refuse to go there. Okay, that's an interesting view. So I was saying, because religions are cults, they're not allowed to do that. They grow up with the thoughts that it's who they are. No, actually, I think a lot of Muslims, there's a lot of flexibility. I think Islam, I don't see much flexibility within Islam itself, but within Muslims' interpretation of Islam, there's actually a lot of flexibility. People ignore the religion. They don't take it very seriously. They come up with an interpretation that is like very off, very different from what the text says, which is like, there's a lot of flexibility for Muslims themselves, actually. So that's why I don't think you should like look at a Muslim like, oh, they've obviously been brainwashed and they're only going to behave in this way. There's just like the range of behavior and interpretations is like so wide. So I don't agree with that so much. yeah, I mean, the religions itself are like cultish and very harmful beliefs, but I just think the way it translates to how Muslims think and behave is just very loosely connected, and it's just all over the place. Anyways, I need to go. I'm starving. I'm gonna die.
You're looking better
Anyways,
from last week, though, so you're looking more
yes,
healthy
I was sick.
within
I know
yourself.
I was. Yeah, so I look good now. I'm fine.
Yeah, you're fine. I mean, I was gonna like message you and stuff, but then I saw you with Susanna, and you look better, and so I was he seems to be recovering.
You know, if you want to recover fast, just like drink a lot of water and sleep a lot. Okay, it's the human's version of turning it off and on. Okay, so it usually does the trick. Just a lot of sleep, get some food, and lots of liquid. That usually fixes most sick. Like it reduces the time that you're sick a lot. You know, that's right.
Okay. All right, but well, have a good week, and so you're still in Canada next week.
Yeah, I don't talk about where I am to most people because there's so many. So don't give away my location.
Oh, okay, sorry. In Gibraltar.
Yeah. Okay.
Southern side. Yeah. No.
All right,
Corbett. All right. Take care.
All right. Talk to you then. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Like the video.